All right, the Titans scored. They're kicking an extra point. If we miss the extra point, I am going to die, and I just want documentation that I am fully dead.
And Bullock's kick is good by a hair.
I'm alive! Fat Randy.
From 36.
Fat Randy. Fat Randy! Fat Randy! Let's go! Come on! What a win! We're back! I'm alive! Woo!
The Tennessee Titans.
Let's go!
The following is a Bearded Broadcaster Productions podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. As Waffle is ready to go, he's geared up after another week of football. And folks, it's been a week. It has been a weekend. I have been stewing on my thoughts about the Clemson offense. Waffle has got thoughts on the Tennessee Titans after a crazy game in Seattle. And just thoughts all around about football and the world. We talked for a minute off camera about some of this stuff and off mic about some of this stuff. But Waffle, man, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I love the ASMR. We love it. Oh, we love it. Make sure to wear your headphones for this episode, folks.
Yeah. No, I'm doing good. A good weekend for the Sunday was really good. Obviously, we'll get into that later, but Sunday was really good for the most part. Fantasy teams did good. Titans, big win. Can't wait to talk about that. Saturday, a much expected result, but
yeah,
we'll get into that here in just a second. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into that. I hope y'all had a good weekend. My fantasy team pulled out. I had Russell Wilson actually going against the Titans, and we'll talk about that later. That long touchdown pass they gave up. I was like, thank you. Yeah. On the other end, Waffle just screaming into the void on the other end. But then once the other afternoon games ended, I knew I was going to win. I was like, all right, y'all can go win this game. I don't care. So.
Yeah. It actually worked out perfect for both of us because I have Tyler Lockett in two of my leagues. And Tyler Lockett went off for 100 some odd yards with 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, I can't, and the Titans won, so I can't complain.
That was solid weekend. Stephon Diggs had a touchdown too for me. So that's big time for my team and for my fantasy team. But we'll start with college football around the landscape. We'll start first, kind of the expected outcome we all saw, but some highlights to talk about. Georgia rolls over South Carolina 40-13. JT Daniels is back after an injury. No question that he's going to be the starting quarterback probably for the Dogs the rest of the way. He looked good. Georgia rolls. They got up quick, got up early. Luke Doty made an appearance in this game for South Carolina because Zeb Nolan went out with a hand injury. He said he had a cut on his hand and just couldn't grip the ball, which that's not a good injury to have at all, especially if you're a quarterback. But Luke Doty comes in, and, man, he got hit a lot like he did last year against Georgia, kind of expected. But defensively, South Carolina did some things that worked well. Jalen Foster, the former Gardner-Webb running Bulldog, Sco Dogs, has 2 picks, and he's looked very good this year. He's tied for the nation lead in picks now. So that's got to be something that you love to see if you're a South Carolina fan. And also, hey, you did something that Clemson couldn't do. Your first offense to score a touchdown against the Georgia Bulldogs defense. Probably garbage time, whatever. I also had the amazing catch that made it all over Sports Center. But, hey, some good things to talk about, though, from the South Carolina team against Georgia.
Yeah, for sure. An expected outcome. I said it last week, and just, we knew we were overmatched going into this game. Georgia is looking like they're going to be one of the best teams in the country. Their offense figured it out last week against UAB. They came out. They had a field day against South Carolina for the majority of the game, dropping 40 on us, beating us 40-13. But definitely some positives to take away for South Carolina. There's no moral victories, and I don't like moral victories because at the end of the day, we lost by 27. Covered the spread, though. How about that?
Yeah, hey, good teams cover, man. Good teams cover.
Yeah. So, JT Daniels back for Georgia, 23 of 31, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick for him. A solid day back for sure. But Georgia had a great day just in all facets of the game. But about Carolina, Zeb Nolan started out the game, and this is what I wanted to happen. Like I talked about it last week as well, just with Doty coming out. Like if he was not ready to go against ECU, I thought if you don't have to play him against Georgia, don't play him against Georgia because we knew he was going to be running for his life, and like just save it. Why risk putting him in there in a game that we know we were pretty much going to lose? So Zeb Nolan comes out there, gets stepped on, and in comes Doty. So you know what? It's here. Let's let it happen. And Doty showed signs of, some very good things. Like some of his deep balls he threw were really nice. Big fan of that. Obviously, he is an athlete, but it's so hard to run on this Georgia defense. So
Right.
But Doty finished 13 to 26, 153 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. So it's hard to your first sample size of him this year being against one of the best defenses in the nation. So we'll get a better assessment of Doty as we go on the weeks forward, especially this week against Kentucky. But overall, South Carolina, I was impressed with some things. Josh Vann, only 3 receptions, but 128 yards and a touchdown. That was one of my big questions coming into the year. Who's going to step up at receiver for South Carolina? Because as bad of a football team as South Carolina has been, they have really been blessed with a crop of great receivers in Deebo Samuel, Brian Edwards, and also Shi Smith.
Yeah.
All local guys, all guys from South Carolina, with Deebo being from Chapman and Spartanburg, Brian Edwards being from Conway in the Myrtle Beach area, and Shi Smith being from Union County, somebody who's really close to you and I, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was wondering who was going to step up because Shi Smith's gone now. He was the catalyst of everything last year. That if there was any bright spot, it was most likely him. And Josh Vann has really stepped up this year, and he's played really well, along with Jalen Brooks, who made that fantastic grab.
Yeah.
That you saw on SportsCenter, the little one-headed catch. And he's a guy that was transferred in from Wingate, who, coming from a D2 school, it's hard to have massive expectations. Like you don't expect him to come from a D2 school and then come into D1 and just be like, oh my God, he's going to be like Heisman,
especially SEC level.
Correct. Yeah. So, and he had a fair year last year, didn't really do a whole lot, but then this year he's done a little bit better. And DeKirion Joyner too, still just hanging in there. He's been through a lot, moving from quarterback to receiver. I know it's tough, but still getting it done. But yeah, South Carolina, a lot of good things to take away. Defense was decent in spots. Jalen Foster, 2 picks. Can't say enough about him. I've really been impressed with him, like you said, from Gardner-Webb. So, Sco Dogs there. And 2 picks for him. There's a video that circulated around Twitter showing after another defensive back from South Carolina gave up a blown coverage touchdown.
Yeah.
The guy from Carolina's got his hands on his hips, body language, and it's not good. Foster comes over, takes his hands off his hips, just kind of gives him a pat, and it's just like, hey, let's go. And Jalen Foster put on Twitter, like, above all else, love each other. And that's the same stuff that Beamer has been harping on over and over again, just saying that it starts with when you're in a rebuild like this and when you're a new coach coming into a new team, you can't come in and you can't just demand, and bark out orders. You can't just make it all about that. You have to get to know these players. You have to love them. You have to teach them to love each other, care about each other. And that's exactly what they're doing. And I really don't think you can ask for any more. I think that South Carolina is set up for a bright future as long as Beamer's here. And I couldn't be more excited about it. And I can't go without mentioning Beamer's press conference at the end of the game, and a reporter asked him about basically like what was Georgia, why was Georgia's defense, basically like just saying why was Georgia's defense so good, and Beamer's just like, well, I mean, they got 5 stars, they got all these guys, they're just a freaking good team. Like what else you want me to say? And I think Beamer's generally is just a very likable guy.
Yeah,
and I like him a lot, and I'm excited about what he's going to do. But this game, we expected this, so nothing new. We'll roll on to next week.
Yeah, no, like I said, that Beamer clip also fresh to have some good honesty from some coaches, especially after Muschamp will kind of walk around some subjects and stuff.
Right.
Straight up honest with you, like the South Carolina's not in the place right now to go up against those teams right now, and hopefully they can get to that place. He's recruited well already while being there, and so we'll see what happens in South Carolina. I was a Clemson fan. I do like Shane Beamer. I like him a whole lot more than Will Muschamp. He seems like a likable guy that, you kind of do want him to succeed. Of course, I want Clemson to beat him by 40, of course. But, likable guy and a guy that I think is going to, at least change the culture first, because that's what you got to do first with this team.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, the wins should come. And so, I don't know how long it's going to be. I hope South Carolina is able to wait a little bit because it might take a while.
Yeah.
But, maybe this year, though, if they can have a good year, get some upsets and get to a bowl game, maybe he's on the path of something great. And like I said, that defense, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
With that defensive line, too, that secondary has been very good at times as well. Of course, had some plays guys against Georgia at times, but of course, it's a team like Georgia. You're going to give up some big plays on offense. So, but yeah, they responded well. Just couldn't get the rush game going. Of course, that's what Beamer talked about. That's the only thing that I think would be the negative from that, and that's probably why they struggled.
This offensive line's does have some issues. So, and we have 4 running backs that I think are definitely capable of being game changers. And if we can't block for them, then there's going to be so much weight on Doty's shoulders now going forward. So, something about that's got to be done. But once, we get into these next 4 games, are going to shape South Carolina's season. Kentucky, Troy, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, all games that I could see South Carolina winning, and I could also see them losing. It's just going to go a long way. So these next 4 weeks are going to be huge for the season.
Yeah, exactly. And so you got to have that 3-headed monster of White, Harris, and Lloyd. Got to get more than 81 yards total. Yeah. It took Harris 16 carries to get 31 yards. Again, you're probably not going up against a D-line that good until you play Clemson again at the end of the year, but still very good team. And so you got to get some of these wins. So, again, expected the outcome for South Carolina and Georgia. South Carolina moves on to a big-time task against Kentucky. Now we'll look at the Clemson Tigers against Georgia Tech. And this game, I think, took 23 years off my life. So, you don't know me again. Told y'all I was working I worked Carson Newman, grad assistant. We had a football game that started at 1 o'clock. We had a rain delay too. Didn't get home till about 6:30 or 7, whatever. Well, Clemson started at 3:30, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I can get to see like the 4th quarter. And of course, me being the Clemson fan, I've seen the expectations. Maybe it's going to be garbage time. I get to see some of these new kids play some. Well, I look at the game during our rain delay. We get our rain delay about the time they kick off. And I look, and Clemson is up 7-0 late in the first quarter. So I'm like, okay, that took some time to get going. That's fine. That happens. Clemson does not play well in the first quarter. People forget that a lot. Clemson does not play well in the first quarter of games. It takes them a while to get going sometimes. Now, if they're playing like South Carolina State or somebody, they drop like 14, 20 in the first quarter. This one, they score 4:40 left. Will Shipley gets a touchdown run. 7-0. Okay. I check again. Clemson's in the red zone in the second quarter. All right, I might make it 14-0 or 10-0. And they decide to go for it on 4th down. All right, I like it. I like the aggressiveness. And they call one of the most uninspired plays to Will Shipley I've ever seen in my life. They let's see, what was that play called? I'm trying to find that exact play. Here you go. It's a 13-play, 43-yard drive. They just forced a punt. And they call this little dump off to Will Shipley. And Georgia Tech's right there. All right. Turnover on downs. They get a stop, and they get 3 and out. And then, of course, rain delay comes, 2-hour-long rain delay. Come out, and they give up a field goal. It's 7-3 at halftime, quote unquote. So, like, okay, ugly first half. I understand it. Georgia Tech's going to give them all you got. Georgia Tech's not a good team. I stand by this, that Georgia Tech is not a good football team.
No, they're not.
Jordan Yates is a good quarterback, I think. This defense is bad at Georgia Tech. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe you got to get rolling. Nothing happens. Clemson gets back to the red zone in the third quarter. 7-3. 7-3 is the lead. And they try to run with DJ. And he fumbles it. All right, that's when I started getting frustrated. So I'm like, that's 2 times you could score, at least get a field goal, at least make it 13-7. Maybe feel a little better. They force a punt, then a good drive. 12-play, 66-yard drive. Will Shipley scores again. It is 14-3, third quarter. Or fourth quarter, excuse me.
Yeah.
You're looking great. Georgia Tech goes on a 16-play, 70-yard drive. It takes about 7 minutes off the clock. Now, here's the thing, though. I can be mad about that, but Georgia Tech took so long to score and made it 14-6. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, that's good defense. You made them take up so much clock and use some timeouts. You've got a chance. Georgia Tech pulls off the perfect onside kick to Malachi Carter. Beautiful onside kick. Ajo decides, instead of falling on it, I'm going to punt it out of bounds.
Yeah.
You never do that on onside. You catch it and fall down.
Yep.
Georgia Tech gets it. 9-play, 51-yard drive. But Clemson's defense, I got to give it to him. James Scalzi, he's the captain of that defense. He's been there for 6 years. They run that stupid little shovel pass that Pitt ran.
Yep.
About 4 years ago that they scored on all the time. Run it, stuffed. 2-yard line.
Yep.
Clemson got the ball back. It's 14-6. Georgia Tech has no timeouts. There are 15 seconds left. Excuse me.
Yep.
Clemson at their own 2-yard line. Now, Waffle. Off the top of your head, how many feet are in a yard?
3.
Yeah, 3 feet are in a yard. Waffle, do you know how tall DJ Uiagalelei is?
6'5", 6'6".
He's 6'4". I'm going to give him 6'5". He looks bigger than that. But he's 6'5", 6'4", 240 pounds. So he's listed that on the Clemson website.
Yep.
Remember, all Clemson has to do, they don't even have to get a yard. They just have to get back to the yard line of scrimmage. Clock runs out. Game's over. It's 14-6. Ugly win. We complain about the offense again, but it's still, I don't think we complain as much.
Yeah.
Clemson comes out there and tries to draw Georgia Tech offsides. Doesn't work, delay a game. Now, this is on me. I thought it was a smart move at first. Like, 10-second runoff. So you can just run around for 5 seconds and throw it. You can't do that when the clock's not moving. I did not know that. So that's on me. Because that's what I thought they were doing. Like, that's smart. Take a penalty. They can't call timeout. No one can call timeout. You just run around for 5 seconds in the end zone, then you fall down. It'd be 14-8, but it'd be like, okay, we won 14-8 on a dumb safety at the end.
Yeah.
So half of this is balls at the 1. Again, you just have to get half a yard. If that, you just back to the line scrimmage, just don't get in the end zone.
All right.
Why is DJ Uiagalelei lining up in the pistol 4 yards deep in his own end zone? And then why is Will Shipley 2 yards behind him? DJ then snaps it, hands the ball off to a guy who's 6 yards deep in the end zone to get 1. And he almost had it, and then he fumbled it because, again, it's been raining all day. Falls on it in the end zone. That's a safety. Almost could have been a touchdown. Could have been a touchdown for Georgia Tech.
Yes.
Very close. Will Shipley smart to grab that ball. This is not on Will Shipley.
Mm-mm.
How do you not send your 6'4" quarterback under center and just put 4 people behind him and push?
Right.
The Bush push is legal. It's not like you're going to get a penalty for it. Just I know y'all got some big fullbacks. Do we not have the fridge package again? The defense was cramping up all afternoon in that second half. I get it. They're tired. They had to sit in the humidity for 2 hours and come back out and have a 7-minute drive. You're telling me you couldn't ask some extra offensive lineman, some extra tight end, hey, get in the backfield and just push DJ forward.
Yeah.
Can he not snap it from under center? That's the issue I'm seeing. And if you can't do that, you can't succeed as a quarterback.
Right.
And it's not an issue of, well, maybe it's because he's slower. No, Trevor Lawrence is the same thing, and he's half the size and would get beat up, but he could dive forward for half a yard.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson, the same thing, and he's smaller than both of them.
Yep.
Heck, even Charlie Whitehurst did the same thing, and he's nowhere near the athlete these two guys are.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's other things to talk about this offense that needs to get working. The rush game needs to be better. Will Shipley was fine. You got to be more inspired, I think, getting it to your receivers. You got to be able to get it to Justin Ross more. Will Shipley, again, he's not going to be a Travis Etienne, but he's good, I think. And now they've just come out and they've said he's going to be the starter for this week at NC State, which is, I think, the correct move.
Yeah, they should have done that a while ago.
Exactly. And Kobe Pace is a solid running back too, but they just got to get to him too. But I don't know, but it's just if you can't get under center and fall forward for half a yard, not even half a yard, just stay at the line. Literally, all you have to do was just stand up at the line of scrimmage and make sure that ball is not across the plane. As long as that happens, the game's over. And it's so uninspired. And again, James Scalzi comes up clutch again, big hit on Jordan, forces Jordan Yates out of the pocket, big hit on Yates before he can lateral it. Clemson recovers the fumble, wins the game. And again, win's a win. I know I'm sounding like a jaded Clemson fan. I've seen Clemson get their butt whooped before plenty of times. I've been there for Tommy Bowden years. But again, you Clemson fans, you can complain even if you're older. You can complain about this because this is bad. This is a bad offense. And again, I'm not saying DJ Ucla has to be Trevor Lawrence because he's not going to be. But 18 of 25 for 126 and then 8 rushes, 46 yards. That's just bad. That is not what you should be doing against, again, Georgia. I expect it. Georgia's a good defense. Georgia might be the second best defense in the country with Clemson. Titled Clemson for the best defense in the country. Georgia Tech gave up so much to Northern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Northern Illinois is an okay football team. Northern Illinois also gave up a bunch of yards to Wyoming, who is actually a pretty good team, and then got destroyed by Michigan, who may actually be a decent little team. And when they got to Ross was effective, 7 catches for 61 yards. Ngata only had 2 catches. Allen only had 2 catches. Ladson had 1 catch. Galloway had 1 catch. Taylor had 1 catch. You know they're going to focus on Ross because he's one of the best wide receivers in the conference. And when that happens, you got to be able to move over to Ngata. Yeah. I will say this about Georgia Tech. Jordan Yates looked okay. 20 of 34, 203 yards, had that pick. Jahmyr Gibbs only had 30 yards rushing. Rush defense was fine. 95 yards told Georgia Tech, who, again, you're used to the option and all that stuff. Georgia Tech still likes to run the ball a lot and go hurry up. To hold them under 100 yards rushing is really good.
Yeah.
But, man, Kendall McGowan had 82 yards receiving. That's their lead. Defense did fine. This game is not on defense at all. I mean, Lamar Bentley had 13 tackles and a sack and 2 tackles for loss. Skalski had 9 tackles. Booth had 6 tackles. Goodrich, 6 tackles. Brissy was all over the place and had a sack and a half. Ruke Arohoro, who's a guy that needs to step up, looked good. Venables came up big. And Xavier Thomas was just plugging holes. But, man, you've got to get this going because there's going to be games like this in the ACC. The one I'm looking at is that Boston College game because Boston College without Phil Dracovic has gone back to the early 2000s Boston College without Matt Ryan, where we're going to run the ball and make you hate life for 4 quarters. You also have Pitt coming up. Pitt's got Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett has looked really good this year, and they're going to try to score a lot, and they also have a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have Wake Forest and Sam Hartman. I know they haven't played a whole lot of good teams this year, Wake Forest has. That offense can move. And then at the end of the year, South Carolina with that secondary and that defensive line, they have looked good. So, and I'm going to compare it to Carson Newman's game this week. And Carson Newman played Wingate, who's number 16 in the nation, and held them to all field goals in the first half, 12-3. But you're asking a lot of your defense if you can't get the offense moving because the offense just couldn't get moving for Carson Newman. They had a chance, they were down 19-3 in the third quarter, had a chance to go score, make it at least, heck, they had a chance that they were gone for 2, make it an 8-point game, one possession game. And they just couldn't get anything going. Wingate goes down, scores a touchdown, puts it out of reach. And they had a fumble and a kickoff that put them at the 14-yard line. Wingate gets held to a field goal, but you can't ask your defense to do everything.
Right.
And at some point, that defense, and they look tired against Georgia Tech, at some point, they're going to run to a team that has a really good offense, like a Pitt, like a Louisville, like a Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And heck, even this weekend, we'll talk a little bit about NC State this weekend because they got a pretty good quarterback that's going to they're just going to do the things they need to do to win. and you're off, and when you ask your offense, hey, you gotta go score, they're not gonna be able to. So I don't know what needs to change. I think it's gotta be getting the run game more involved. I don't think you bench DJ because Tyson Palmachuk is a good quarterback. He's not the same kind of athlete. I don't think Hunter Helms is that athlete either. So I don't know who you. So it's looking at the quarterback. There's not a quarterback on the roster. I would sit there and go, yeah, I'd put him over to DJU because it really isn't. But you gotta get something going. And then of course now Lynn J. Dixon is transferring out of the program, so he's done for the year. That's a run back gone. So you let Ches Malusi walk last year.
Yep.
Who has had a fantastic year in Wisconsin so far. So I don't know if that means you get Darren Rencher going more, who has been a solid back when he's come in.
Yeah.
And maybe Michael Dukes, you get him going a little bit. But, man, it's just frustrating. And again, it's kind of hard for me to complain after all the success Clemson's had or whatever. But it's just like, what happened in the past year? Because, again, DJU Iangale, first game as a starter, goes into Notre Dame Stadium, has the most passing yards ever against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's been playing football since football was invented.
Yeah.
No one has done that. Think of all those quarterbacks who've gone into that stadium as an away quarterback and haven't done that. And this freshman from California does it. And now this year, he's run for 475 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks, and has been sacked 7 times. Grant, most of those came against Georgia. But something's got to happen because this offense, I think I looked at it, they have the least amount of explosive plays of 20 yards or more in the nation. And they have led that category, I think, every year, or been in the top 5 of that category every year since about 2014.
Yeah.
So it's just frustrating. I'm not putting the full-on panic alarm yet on Clemson yet, because I think the rest of the ACC is pretty bad. But you never know what you're going to get with half these teams each week. Yeah. Like, we don't know what you're going to get from Pitt. We'll talk about them later. You don't know what you're going to get from Pitt each week. You don't know what you're going to get from Wake Forest. I don't know if they're good. They haven't played anybody good. Florida State's horrible. It's about the only team we know that's bad in the ACC is Florida State and Syracuse that Clemson will play this year.
And Duke.
Clemson doesn't play them this year, but those are the only 3 that you know, that Duke, Florida State, and Syracuse are your bad teams.
Right.
Every other team could come out there and just be world beaters. And then if Clemson runs the table, gets the ACC championship game, Sam Howell looks a whole lot better than he did week 1.
Yeah.
If Virginia somehow sneaks in, Brennan Armstrong is a very good quarterback.
Yep.
Virginia Tech holds on. They win that. I know they had a bad game against West Virginia. Braxton Burmeister is a lot better than when they played each other last year.
Yeah.
And even if Miami, for all the badness Miami's defense has, they still got De'Aaron King, who can pull something out of his butt and make something happen. So, again, I don't know if it's a play calling issue. I don't know if it's a quarterback issue, if it's a running back issue. It's something's going to happen. I get this offensive line's young. I get that. But you got to be able to develop these guys and be able to quick, or else someone's going to sneak up and bite you in the butt that when you least expect it. And then you already got 1 loss. You get 2, you're out of the playoff, especially when you play in the ACC.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, that's just frustrations had to let out. That's been stewing for about 3 days.
Yeah.
I think I was driving to the gym yesterday. I kind of practiced this in my head, like, okay.
Yeah.
What's making me mad about this Clemson team? But
right. Well, let me get it on it. Let me get in from as an outside source.
As an outsider, what's your perspective kind of
who, is a Carolina fan, but is not, whatever. My 2 biggest things about Clemson, like, okay, defense, lights out. We knew it was going to be great. They got everybody back. Awesome, whatever. I really don't know where, like, what's wrong. Like you said, I don't know if it's play calling or what, because I mean, it's not like Clemson. Obviously, they lost Trevor and they lost ETN. But it's not like this is not a rebuilt offense.
No.
Sure, your captain's different. The guy who's ultimately running the show is different, but it's like you said with the Notre Dame game last year. it's not like he has. It's not like one, he hasn't played at all because he played a lot,
Yeah.
and two, it wasn't even garbage time games. It was freaking Notre Dame. Now it was a loss, but I mean the performance was there.
And also, like, to talk about the Notre Dame game, if you're thinking, well, you had Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne didn't do anything in that game. Travis Etienne had like 23 yards that game. So it's not like you can say, oh, we had Etienne to lean on. Etienne was a non-factor in that game. DJ Uiagalelei pulled that off himself, basically.
Right. So we know that he's got it in him, and obviously we know that he is a freak athlete and got a cannon. But here's my my first thing. I watched what I could of the game. Now, obviously, with the rain delay and stuff like that, I started watching other games, and then by the time they started playing again, I was more focused on Carolina than I was Clemson. But we had them both on. Did they ever take a shot down the field? Like, I'm talking like deep, because everything I saw was a check down. And you can look at the 5 yards. He averaged 5 yards a pass, completed 18 passes for 126. It's 5 yards a pass. Everything was a freaking check down. And I know that him and Ross haven't necessarily been on the same page, but I didn't see in crunch time, I didn't see one deep shot.
I don't think they did. I can remember I was kind of in and out after that delay, of course, for a little bit. But
it's not even just Justin Ross. Like we know Justin Ross being back is huge and that he is amazing. But even Ngata and Ladson, all these guys they got, like, they're freak athletes, and they should be able to find themselves behind the Georgia Tech secondary.
Absolutely. I mean, the longest pass they had was the Kobe pace. I believe that was on a little screen pass. He got 17 yards. But Ross had a 16-yard catch, and Ngata had a 13-yard catch. Those are the only three players I had in double digits.
Yeah.
For receiving yards. Like, in last year, we saw it with, Trevor Lawrence, they take a shot all the time with him. Usually it's like the first play of the game. They're like, we're going to take a shot with Trevor just to test somebody.
Right.
And, I don't know if that's been like, if they're worried about his arm, because he took shots against Notre Dame and looked great. He had that one to, I believe it was to Ngata.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. And then going back to the play from the 1 yard line, like, come on, man.
Fall forward.
Are you serious? You're going to line up 3 yards deep in the end zone with your running back 6 yards deep and try that from the 1 yard line when that's so dumb. I don't understand that, because if anything, I mean, you don't even have to put somebody behind DJ. Screw that. Just bunch everybody up there and just say, look, we got one play. We don't have to go anywhere. The only place we can't go is backwards.
Yeah.
And
give me half a yard.
Snap that ball.
Fall.
And go right forward. That's all you got to do. And that brings up a point that I've heard from others, and you brought it up too. Can he take a snap under center? If not, we got bigger issues.
There's a big, and Tony Elliott mentioned that in his press conference. He said, we got to be able to take a snap under center. So I don't know if that means DJ, you can't take one under center, or they don't have a play call for him to take one under center. And if that's the case,
what that's about.
I don't know what you do, because you got to take one under center, because you got to at some point. At some points, you got to when you got to get yard. They did the same thing against Florida State in 2014. Jameis Winston's out, and CJ Fuller's the running back. And they stick him behind Deshaun. Deshaun was starting at this point. They stick him behind Deshaun Watson. And all they have to do, get a yard, the game ends, we don't go to overtime, you upset Florida State. Because still Florida State was really good.
Yeah.
And they do a little pitch out to CJ Fuller. So Clemson's done this before when they need a yard. And CJ Fuller infamously fumbles the ball. But he would have been stopped for a 4-yard loss anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know why they can't go under center. After that, Deshaun Watson went under center plenty of times and just fell forward.
I feel like that Clemson could have done a multitude of things that would have been better than just doing a straight handoff like that. Like, you could have just got DJ, even in the pistol, 3 yards behind center and have him take the snap and then go forward.
Exactly.
Instead of
QB power.
Having to get it here. God, like, in terms of obviously what you want to do is go under center and you want to just power it straight up.
If you have to snap like that, just do straight QB power.
Bro, yeah, snap it to him and let him just go forward. Like, my God, he's 6'4", 250. Good God, he's not going to come down very easy, especially behind that offensive line. Come on.
They're going to stand him up for a while. That's going to run clock at least. And if the referees are like, oh, he's out of the end zone, well, clock's going to keep running. Georgia Tech couldn't stop you.
Yeah. And then the other thing, the biggest thing that could have changed the entire landscape of the game, it was a fumble.
Mm-hmm.
And had Will Shipley not thought, oh my God, and hopped on
Ball's
that
right
thing,
here, falling.
dude.
That's a
Are you
touchdown.
kidding me? You
and you gotta
know
send that tired defense.
that
Out again.
that play. Now, a lot of other things would have had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If the fumble recovered by Georgia Tech, touchdown, 2-point conversion, overtime, Tech somehow wins. That's going to be an all-time. That thing would have lived in lore forever and ever and ever till the day that we died and our kids died and our grandkids died.
Yep.
That would be an all-time blunder, but it's crazy.
As someone whose father was at the
dumb.
Fumble Rooski game, he
Yeah.
was at this game too. He would have seen two of the worst losses of all time in Clemson history if that would happen.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been good for Cool Breeze. The breeze would have been hot. I'll say that.
Breeze would not have been having. Breeze actually left at halftime because he's getting older and 2-hour rain delay was pouring. So he got to watch it from the comfort
I
of his
can't
home
say
at
I
least.
blame him. Can't say
I don't blame him at all because I was watching it from my apartment and I was not happy. So
Yeah.
but no, just frustrating game. Very frustrating. Clemson always has one of these a year though. So maybe this is their one. Get it out of the way early.
Maybe.
But unlike other years, usually you come back the next week and you go off and you beat somebody by 72. I don't know if that's going to happen this year because I don't know if you can score 72 points. Scoring 35 has been an issue at times, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think they're fine. I want to say they're fine. Now, if they go out against NC State and just struggle again, that's when I'm going to get real worried because that's 4 weeks of your season gone of looking at. So that's my rant this week. We'll see what happens next week if I have another one.
Right.
Against NC State. I hate NC State. That's just the one of those teams I hate. And if they go off and lose to them, God,
they're just irrelevant every year.
That's gonna hurt me, man. We'll go through some of our games that we want to hit first. We're trying to condense this a little bit. I know that rant is taking up some time. We're probably going to talk about nonsense for a while. We'll see. First of all, I didn't put this on here, but we talked about it all. Pitt lost to Western Michigan, so Pitt's beating Clemson this year.
Yeah, sorry to Tennessee fans. Taylor, my boss, I know you listen to this. You said you want me to talk about Tennessee. Sorry. Pitt losing to Western Michigan, that really makes y'all's loss look even worse. So I am sorry.
Yeah. So that means the Super Weapon's officially charging now. They have New Hampshire, Virginia Tech, and I can't remember who the other is. It's another conference game. I think Georgia Tech, and before they play Clemson. So they're going to go 1-2 down that stretch, and then go off and beat Clemson by 28. And Kenny Pickett's going to get drafted by the Bills, and then throw 6 interceptions in his first start. Oh wait, that was Nate Peterman. Same thing happened. God, that was so bad. I was at that game, man. I saw Peterman become a legend, and then when the Bills drafted him, I was like, you know what? He looked pretty good against Clemson. And then, yeah, James Conner looked good. Good for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
We're gonna start in the FCS, and oh boy, Presbyterian Blue Hose. Yeah. Not punting came to bite you in the butt this week. They lose to Campbell 72-0. They don't even face the starting quarterback for Campbell. Wiley Hartley has to step in for 6 touchdown passes and 342 yards, school records. Michael Jamerson has 22 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. Our poor Ren Heffley throws 5 picks. And Matthew Rivera for PC had 7 catches for 100 yards, though. So, hey, positives, Hose. There's some positives. That was Presbyterian's first game against a D1 opponent this year. So... Luckily they played the Pioneer League. If you don't know, the Pioneer League has no scholarship, so it's like D3 football, basically. There's some good teams in there, and of course they start with defending conference champion Dayton this week, so that's awesome. Well, we'll see what they can do in conference play. Probably not going to be great, but hey, we'll update you. The Heffley for Heisman train just got a little bit not derailed.
A little bit. It's not quite derailed, but you know, any other team a 72-0 loss that would derail you. Not for Presbyterian because it's Pioneer League football, and we're just going to say that anything can happen here.
Yeah.
But it is also, somebody brought this up on Twitter. Presbyterian is going to be feast or famine, and I think that's the absolute perfect way to describe this. Because look at their wins: 84-43, 68-3, and the loss 72-0. So literally, either they are going to beat the dog crap out of you, or they are going to lie down and die and say, "Trample me for 60 minutes."
Listen, it gets you publicity, Presbyterian. That's all you really need at this level. So
yeah, and you're going to have the college football. Not necessarily old heads, maybe just guys with common sense that are just going to be like, if you go for it from your own 2-yard line on 4th and 22, you deserve to lose. And listen, you know what? I kind of agree.
Well, listen, if college football Twitter likes you, you're set, man. Yeah. You're set for life. So college football Twitter is in love with the Blue Hose, so we're good. They're good to go. We'll roll through some of these games. Penn State and Auburn. Penn State wins 28-20. Sean Clifford looks good, man.
Mm-hmm.
He looks real good. And Penn State runs a no-huddle type offense now, which is weird to see a team in the Big Ten that's not Ohio State do that.
Yeah.
And it's worked effectively. But Auburn, why did y'all not just run the ball?
Yeah.
At the end, Tank Bigsby was going off.
Yeah.
And they just like, we're going to throw a fade to – someone said they were throwing a fade to Giannis in the end zone for that touchdown to tie it. Because that ball was 17 feet above everyone's head. And that was rough. But, I mean, good win for Penn State. Cool to see the whiteout again. I don't know if Bo Nix is good still. And we've been talking about this for 3 years now.
I know.
Everybody says, oh, Bo Nix is going to get it together. And it's been the third year of Bo Nix, and we have no idea if he's good. Just interesting. Oklahoma beats Nebraska only 23-16. Another rough Nebraska game for Spencer Rattler. Maybe this means that week 0 is a fluke for Nebraska. I don't know, but DJ Graham's interception.
Completely unnecessary. Let me just throw that out there. I feel like I don't want to be the buzzkill, but it's absolutely unnecessary. And I promise you, I didn't even look like watching the play. Like I was just so caught up in, oh my God, he made that catch. And then I looked at the comments and people were like, you should have dropped it. You should have just dropped. We lost yardage because so I was like, you know what? You're not wrong. But look at that. Look at the interception. Like
so cool. Listen, I'm one of those coaches that be like, this is why I couldn't be a coach or a referee. Because like, nah, that was cool, man. You got that. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Here's 20 extra yards. There you go.
The Oklahoma, I don't know if you heard it. The Oklahoma radio call's dope.
Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah,
it's
Gus
so
Johnson's
good.
call is good too. As well,
I mean, yes. Amazing.
The Oklahoma radio call is good. Spencer Rattler couldn't believe it either.
Yeah.
Again, another sleepwalking game for Oklahoma, and there are two teams in the Big 12, West Virginia and Kansas State, that might – dang it, Shane Beamer. I don't want to hear you. But West Virginia and Kansas State, might catch the Sooners napping. We'll have to see because the Huskers almost did.
They're playing – Oklahoma's playing with fire for sure.
Mm-hmm. They're playing down a little bit. Cincinnati goes on the road and beats Indiana 38-24. They're actually down 14-0 in this game.
Yeah.
Come from
it's
behind.
Turned into a shootout at one point.
And man, Cincinnati, we gotta keep talking about them. They're ranked in the top 10. Riddler, the quarterback, 210 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. That defense looked really good too. Again, Indiana not as good as they were last year, but 3 picks for the Bearcats. And now Cincinnati, they've got a bye week and they go to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
What could be a huge game for Cincinnati.
Yeah. So this period in between, I think it's in between the third and the fourth quarter. I'm pretty sure it overlaps. But this sequence of events where Cincinnati is down 14-10 and they go 10 plays, 79 yards in 4.5 minutes for a touchdown. Indiana goes 5 plays, 75 yards in a minute, 53 seconds for a touchdown. Cincinnati returns the kick for a touchdown. Indiana goes 3 minutes, gets a field goal, and then Cincinnati comes back out 75 yards in 3.5 minutes, gets a touchdown. This game just got stupid.
Oh, it got real dumb, real quick.
Dumb, real freaking quick too.
Yeah. And then, fumble, punt, interception, touchdown, downs, end of game. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Wild.
Listen, our beloved Hoosiers aren't doing too hot, but guess what? They're always fun to watch. So
yeah,
I can enjoy them. So yeah, Cincinnati. Big time game next week.
Yeah.
against Notre Dame coming up. And Notre Dame's got a big game this weekend as well. Ohio State beats Tulsa 41-20, and this game was close for a while. And this is at the one point this game was 13-6 at halftime. And Tulsa had, I believe, held a lead at one point, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, 14-13 lead in the third quarter. And or excuse me, no. They did not hold the lead. Sorry. It was 13-6 for a long time. It was 20-13 late in the third quarter. That's what it was. 20-13 late in the third quarter, and then 27-20 late in the fourth quarter. Then Ohio State scores a touchdown, gets a pick six. That ends the game.
Yeah.
I heard rumors that CJ Stroud might be getting benched, which is interesting to hear after his week one. The running back for Ohio State won this game for him, though. 277 yards and 3 touchdowns for Henderson, Trayvon Henderson.
Yeah.
And Ohio State's kind of like, like we think of Clemson, they can roll out whoever they want at times.
Yeah.
This Big Ten this year is really good. I don't think you need to do that yet.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, let him go. Just don't pull the plug on him yet.
Yeah.
If this game says anything, once again, about Ohio State, is that their defense is suspect.
Now, here's the thing for Ohio State. You have Akron next week. That should be an easy win.
Yeah.
Akron's horrible. You go to Rutgers, and Rutgers is 3-0. They got Michigan this week. We'll talk a little bit about that game. If Rutgers looks any kind of decent against Michigan, I'd kind of get a little more prepared if I was Ohio State.
Yeah.
Then you got Maryland. Taulia Tagovailoa, it's a pretty good quarterback. You go to Indiana. I know Michael Penix hasn't looked good at all this year, but it's going to be at home. There's going to be a lot of emotion in that game. It's a rivalry game. And then you've got to play Penn State at home. And the back half of the schedule is tough for Ohio State. You got Penn State, Michigan State, and Michigan all at the back half of this. And Ohio State cannot slip up at all because, again, you have one loss too. So, interesting to see what develops in Columbus. Fresno knocks off UCLA 40-37. No one saw this on the Pac-12 network. I saw the highlights, though. Jake Haener, our boy, died on the Rose Bowl field, but threw the game-winning touchdown pass. Fresno's good. Fresno is a very good team.
Fresno is very good. 3-1 with their only loss being Oregon by single digits. So
yeah, and man, this game was wild toward the end. I don't know if Dorian Thompson-Robinson's good or not, though. 14 of 24, 278, and 3 touchdowns. It's not a lot, but it's still effective. Like,
he has to have probably he's got to have the most yards per pass attempt.
He's got to, man.
Has to.
Yeah. They held Zach Charbonnet in check. He still had 2 touchdowns, but only 19 yards, so he didn't kill them.
Yeah, he only got 6 carries. Did he possibly get hurt? I mean, who knows? Because it says his status is active, so I don't know what his deal was.
Another guy you need to look at, Ronnie Rivers for Fresno State. First of all, great name. 21 carries, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So the Bulldogs can run it too, which is really good. But Jake Haener, man, took a shot on a drive that gave him the first lead. Has holding his side in between plays, and he has to get the ball down with 50 seconds left. Scores another touchdown pass. Is just holding his side and dying on the field, and pulls off that's a big. He's cemented his legacy in Fresno for sure. Yeah, and this is a Fresno State team. 3-1. They've got a stretch. I'm going to include Wyoming in this because Wyoming's got a good offense, but they have to go to Wyoming, Nevada, who's got Carson Strong as a good quarterback, go to San Diego State, and then host Boise State. And then they got to play San Jose State on Thanksgiving. So it's a tough little stretch, but I think they could do some damage. They avoid Utah State, who we talked about some. Yeah. It's having a really good offense too. So, man, if we get that Utah State, Fresno State Mountain West Championship game, though, it's going to be insane.
Remember these names. I mean, obviously, Jake Haener, we've said it over and over again, but remember his name and remember either Jalen Cropper or Josh Kelly, wide receivers. And the reason, Cropper had 14 receptions, 141 yards and a touchdown, and Josh Kelly had 8 receptions, 120 yards and no touchdowns. But remember those names because Fresno State has produced a pretty good quarterback wide receiver duo, NFL wise. Remember these guys when Sundays come up, Jake Hayner and one of those guys, because like they could end up being like Derek Carr and Devontae Adams, who Devontae Adams is now arguably the best receiver in the league. And Derek Carr, I think
Top
for the
10
most part,
probably.
has had up and down. But I mean, obviously this year they look really good.
Yeah,
But-
he is. Fresno State produces quarterbacks and receivers, and they look very good this year. West Virginia beats Virginia Tech 27-21. West Virginia tried to give this game away at the very end, and Virginia Tech just could not get into the end zone. It's kind of surprising to see. Braxton Burmeister's crew do that. But, man, this is a great win for Neil Brown at West Virginia because he had to rebuild a lot when he got there. And, I don't think West Virginia's at the level they want to be. They lost to Maryland to start the year, of course. They got Oklahoma this week. But, that's a big time win for the Mountaineers. And I think they're gonna make some noise. They're gonna upset some people, I think, this year in the Big 12.
Yeah. I'd like to see it happen. I always like West Virginia. Their only loss being to a Maryland team who could end up being pretty good. If they are pretty good, that's obviously going to help West Virginia's case for anything. But
yeah, that's a 3-0 West Maryland team. Again, after they played West Virginia, they played Howard and Illinois, but still an undefeated Maryland team right now who has Kent State and then has to. Oh God, whoever made Maryland's schedule hates them. They play Kent State, then they play Iowa, at Ohio State, at Minnesota, Indiana, Penn State, at Michigan State, Michigan, at Rutgers. Oh boy. You've got 4 ranked teams right there, and you got 2 of them at home, or 5 ranked teams, and you get 2 of them at home at least. So 3 of them at home. Okay, not as horrible, but still a lot in a row. So go Terps.
Yes, sir.
BYU knocks off Arizona State 27-17. Now we got to start talking about the Cougs a little bit. They're going to the Big 12 in a couple of years, and they're making some noise as an independent right now.
Yeah.
3-0, and a lot of people thought they kind of slipped back a little bit after losing Zach Wilson, but they've kept the ship steady and have had all 3 wins over the Pac-12. They have to go to Utah State in October. That's going to be a crazy game. They host Boise, and then they host Virginia, and they go to USC. So still 4, I think, really big games. They also go to Washington State as another Power 5 team. They should handle business, though, with how Washington State's looked. But, man, this is a pretty good BYU team that, I don't know if they're going to get the same kind of treatment Notre Dame gets as an independent. But they've done their job so far. Jaron Hall, 561 yards passing, 7 touchdowns and 2 picks. And again, half these guys I say are like freshmen. They're actually like 20.
Yeah.
Because they're Mormon, they go on mission, all that stuff. So, so there's a little bit more, of course, of a leadership right there. But they still have a nasty defense. Keenan Pili has 31 tackles and 1.5 sacks this year. So this is still a good team out in Utah. The Stormin' Mormons are storming for sure. North Carolina and Virginia turned the defenses off. My goodness. This game was wild. The entire time I watched most of this game until it kind of got pulled away for North Carolina. Sam Howell is back. He is just fine. 14-21, 370 yards, 5 touchdowns and a pick. He also rushed for 112 yards. He's the first ever North Carolina quarterback to rush for 100 and throw for 300 in back-to-back weeks. Brennan Armstrong from Virginia. He's a kind of a name people have forgotten about. 554 yards passing, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Just really good. Also, Ty Chandler had 20 rushes for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Tar Heels. So,
Virginia coming away with only 24 rushing yards. Is utterly ridiculous as well. 22 carries. Now, 8 of those were by Brennan Armstrong, so I'm sure they were sacks. Well, the majority of them were sacks. I think North Carolina had
3 sacks.
Well, North Carolina had 3 sacks. So, I'm sure a lot of those that he had 8 carries for negative 16 yards. So I'm sure a lot of the negative yardage came from sacks. But God, they no running game in Virginia. My goodness.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem because they got to get those backs going to help Armstrong not throw it 54 times a game,
Right?
Especially against some of these teams they face down the road. Michigan State beats Miami 38-17. Are we officially calling Miami dead?
Yes.
Yeah,
they're dead. They suck. I hate them.
The defense is bad. Michigan State has an offense.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker, 27 carries, 172 yards. They got a quarterback too.
Watch out, Big Ten.
Yep. So this is a team that doesn't look bad. Peyton Ford, he's thrown for 726 yards and 9 touchdowns, no picks this year.
I think a lot of people forget that Michigan State made the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people forget that, and they've been through some down years, but now starting out 3-0, especially with a win over a ranked Miami team who is probably not really as good as that ranking, but still.
So coming up, they have Nebraska, Western Kentucky, Rutgers, and Indiana before they play Michigan. So they could rattle off some wins here, getting some good standing for that Michigan game. And after that, they have Ohio State and Penn State to end the year. So Michigan State looking good. Also, Mel Tucker coached in shorts. I don't know if you saw that. We stand our king. Coaching in shorts. We love that. Taking the Pat Fitzgerald playbook.
All right.
Shutting off the legs. Army beats UConn 52-21. That's all I need to know.
Yeah,
UConn bad. I think we talked about this off the pod before. UConn has told their assistant coaches they give them 6-month severance package and have said, you're not coming back next year. So if you're UConn assistant, why are you still there? Or why are you putting any effort into this?
Like, look, I know as a coach, you got to love your guys and you like to be there for them. But even me, somebody who has always kind of been like that, and like I feel like in a lot of situations, like I try my hardest not to quit, especially when you got other people who are with you or are counting on you. But like, oh my God, in this situation, I really find it hard to believe that I'd be like, yep, I'm just going to coach the rest of the games. I'm out.
When your school board tells you, hey, guess what? We don't want you back anymore.
Yeah.
I would just be like, all right, cool. Army, by the way, Army does not pass. We all know this. Army threw 3 passes the entire game, completed all 3 of them for 107 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Dropped 52.
Yeah. If Army's dropping 52 on you, you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Also, but however, Tyler Pomachuk, the brother of Tyson Pomachuk, is the starting quarterback for UConn now. God bless him. He had 2 rush touchdowns, though. So, I was looking at their depth chart. They released a depth chart for the game against Wyoming today. Of the 56 listed players that are probably that could see some action, 42 of them are freshmen or sophomores.
Sheesh.
They are a young team that's going to get thrown into the fire real quick this year with a coaching staff that probably does not care what happens to them.
Yeah. No shot they win a game. No shot.
They got Yale, man. They got Yale and UMass. Yeah, they beat Yale, UMass, and Vandy at one point.
No shot. There's no shot. I think those games will be highly competitive, based on whatever your definition of competitive is.
Yeah.
But no way.
All right.
No way.
By the way, right now, those Vandy game, the tickets are selling for $2. Parking costs more for that game right now. So if you want to go to downtown Nashville, make a trip of it. You at least get to see downtown Nashville. But yeah. SMU beats Louisiana Tech 39-37. Only reason this game's on here, crazy Hail Mary at the end for SMU. La Tech does the one thing you never do, and that's tip the ball up. And there's a SMU Mustang standing right there in the end zone, catches it, touchdown. Mustangs win.
Yep.
Horrible defense on the Hail Mary by Louisiana Tech. Similar to what we saw at Jackson State. I missed this game completely. I forgot to put this down. It was one of the biggest games of the weekend. Alabama and Florida. I don't know why I didn't write this down. Bama survives. They got up 21-3 and have to hold on. Should Bama be worried about that a little bit?
I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't look at it more of as. Oh my God! Well, I'm beating around the bush, and I know exactly what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think Bama should be worried about this. I think it's more Florida looked a lot better than we thought they were going to look.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida, I started slow, and Alabama started out hot, and it was 21-3. And if you follow me on Facebook, which you should do that, but because it's interesting, especially on Sundays. I was keeping up with it, and I was Facebooking out. Florida's done. Like, I thought they were done because I thought Florida was done when Alabama went out first drive of the game, 8 plays, touchdown. All right, Florida, you got to answer here. Florida gets all the way down there, has like a 4th and 1 from the 3, and they don't go. They originally line up to go for it, and then Mullen hits the timeout. They send out the kicker, and I said, all right, you lost.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And it's, to be fair, to the point where it was 21-3, I'm like, you can't do that. You're not going to beat Alabama when you kick field goals like that. But Alabama cooled off. Bryce Young started, they started going 3 and out. I think there was some kind of crazy stat. Shoot, I can't remember now, but it was something along the lines like that was Alabama's hasn't gone 3 and out like that in a stupid long time.
Yeah.
I think on back-to-back drives where they've gone 3 and out, they hadn't done that in years. But Florida starts climbing back in it, and then, oh, my God, we got a game. And it was a heck of a game. Such a good game.
Yeah, toward the end, man, Bama got a field goal at the end, make it 31-23, and then Florida gets a touchdown and misses the 2-point conversion that would have tied it.
Yeah.
And then Bama has to punt it back to Florida. Florida gets time for 1 play. Doesn't work for him, of course. And Bama holds on. So, yeah, I think there's some concern. The slant pattern was working a little too well, I think, for Florida, too. It gave Emory Jones some confidence, who's starting for an injured Ant Johnson. Hopefully, Ant Johnson come back pretty good. Because, man, if they meet up again in this SEC title game, that's going to be and then he's healthy. It could be a really good game between those two teams. Of course, Florida would have to get through Georgia as well.
Yeah.
Make that happen.
This is what would you rather see? Would you rather see an Alabama-Florida rematch, or would you want to see Alabama play Georgia?
I kind of want to see Alabama-Georgia to see how Alabama does against that defense.
Could there be some kind of stupid scenario where you get both?
I mean, yeah, get a playoff. Yeah, one of those teams could be it'd have to be where Georgia has, because Georgia would have 1 loss. Florida would have to beat Georgia. Georgia misses the title game, and then Georgia sneaks in.
Yeah, but Georgia sneaks in because of
Florida would have 2 losses. Florida would have 2 losses, and Bama
Florida would have 2 losses after the SEC title game.
Yeah.
Well,
and then you'd
kick them out, and then you'd have to have
Clemson.
Let's just say, no Clemson. Something happens there. You'd have to have like Oregon probably lose on the Pac-12
then need a
day.
Big Ten, and like Big Ten, one of those teams goes undefeated, and then like Oklahoma goes undefeated.
Yeah.
And then you look and you have a bunch of 2-loss teams, and then you just look at Florida. So
I'm not going to say it's going to happen because it's not going to happen. But if it does happen, you heard it here first.
So in November toward Thanksgiving, when you start sweating and realize this could happen, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Folks.
Place the bets now. And if you win, I demand a cut.
Oh, man. We'll continue on. Wake Forest beats Florida State 35-14. Florida State is 0-3 for the first time since 1976. That was the first year Bobby Bowden was head coach.
Yikes.
I don't think Mike Norvell is going to be there as long as Bobby Bowden was.
No,
right now.
Man, they can't figure it out. Ever since Bobby Bowden left them, and obviously they had Jimbo. And he
Jimbo
for the SEC.
I think Jimbo knew something that we didn't know because he got out real quick before it all fell apart.
Yeah.
Because Jimbo still had a decent little team.
Yeah.
The last year he was there. I think they went like 9-3, 10-2. They were second. They were second to Clemson to the Atlantic, and they were pretty decent. They gave Clemson a good game that year.
Yeah.
So
and this is not me being an SEC homer, because I try my hardest not to be, even if I might be a little bit. But there's not many coaches in the NCAA that when they're have the opportunity to go to any SEC school for an extended period of time and sign a big contract like that, they're going to say, nah, I'll stay here. They're going to go unless you're Dabo.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, I mean,
unless you're a guy who's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
Like a Dabo probably is.
Unless it's like, oh, Nick Saban suddenly retires and Alabama's just like, hey, Dabo, you want to come over here? We'll pay you $100 million over 6 years. He'd be stupid not to go. Is with that being
bringing my own guts to Tuscaloosa, baby.
Yeah, but he's going to be the only one. Like, I don't think.
See, my conspiracy theory is of this: Dabo, all of his kids are playing at Clemson right now, except he's got one still at Daniel.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Saban's going to wait till that kid gets graduated now at Clemson because there's something holding you back there now.
Right.
That's my conspiracy theory. They're going to wait till then, unless Dabo just falls off a cliff and they are horrible or something bad happens.
Yeah. Well, look at the other schools, like other big schools, like Ohio State. Look at Ryan Day. You don't think he'd be clamoring for an opportunity for a massive contract in the SEC? Or like Mario Cristobal?
Matt Campbell has done great at Iowa State, and you know dang well he's going to jump ship. Yeah. At some point, if some real big school like USC offers him or something.
Right.
So, yeah. Speaking of SEC, Memphis knocks off Mississippi State 31-29. Crazy game. The punt return touchdown for Memphis. I don't know what happened here. So apparently, if you missed it, there's a punt return. Mississippi State's punting. And this kind of iced the game for Memphis. Put Memphis up by 2 scores. Mississippi State goes to down the ball. And they kind of touch it, but they don't really grab and pick it up.
Yeah.
So the Memphis, and now the referee is waving his arm, but he never blows his whistle. And Memphis player picks up, runs all the way for a touchdown. Now, here's another thing. I don't know if you saw this. Memphis had 2 number 4s on the field at the same time.
Oh, no. I missed that.
The punt returner was wearing number 4, and then one of the blockers was wearing number 4.
Well,
that's illegal.
Yeah, for sure.
And so Memphis got away with a whole lot. That's the most Memphis thing I've ever heard in my life, though.
I don't get, like, and there's another thing that we'll talk about with the Titans when we talk NFL, but is this like a gray area? Like what? Okay, so what is the definition? Because I feel like I've been lied to all my life, because when the first time I watched it, Malik was like, bro, you got to watch this play. Mm-hmm. And I watched it, and it hits at like the 3. Mississippi State guy touches it there, but it's not like stop. The ball's still moving. So, I mean, whatever. Comes forward, ball comes to a dead stop after Mississippi State players corral it, and they don't necessarily like
touch it. They just kind of walk off the field.
They don't like grab the ball, but it comes to a stop, and it's obviously touching Mississippi State players. I feel like every other scenario I've ever seen in my life, like, yep, down right here.
My question is, why is the referee not blowing his whistle?
Yeah,
he threw the thing to mark it, and then
we've seen stupid punt returns before, but they've been ones that the ball was not like fully stopped.
Like North Texas, Arkansas a few years ago. Yeah. North Texas, the guy never called fair catch.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You never call fair catch.
Or like you see sometimes where the punt will hit the ground and come to a complete stop, but nobody touches it, which is all you have to do is touch it, and it's down, and nobody touches it, and then somebody picks up and they're running in.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's on you, bro. But like this was touched at least 3 times and came to a stop. And then next thing you know, Memphis is in the end zone and the play's still going, and they're just like, yep, touchdown. Oh my God. I'd have been livid. If I was Mike Leach, I got thrown out of the game.
No, that is wild. But Memphis knocks off Mississippi State. Memphis always a good team. And they held Mississippi State in check. By the way, Will Rogers threw 67 passes in this game. Stop. That's obscene.
It's a lot.
I hate this. I hate the air raid.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. San Diego State beats Utah 33-31 in 2 overtimes. They go to the shootout.
Yeah.
2-point shootout. That was pretty cool to see. San Diego State play works. Utah almost had it work, but it was ruled incomplete. Very close play. Watch out for the Aztecs.
Yeah.
And the Mountain West, always a good team. I feel like they sneakily have a really good team. They sneakily have a really good running back, and Cameron Bell had 33 carries for 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
they've, like I said, Mountain West is a pretty good conference this year, I think. And
Yeah, it seems like they got some good teams.
yeah, and so San Diego State's got Towson, New Mexico, and they got to play San Jose State after that on a Friday, I believe. So that's coming up for the Aztecs. And then finally, this game I just want to talk about because there's a stat here. Northern Arizona beats Arizona 21-19. That's ugly enough.
Mm-hmm.
I put in the notes, Waffle, Arizona is 9 for 45 on third down conversions this year.
That's so bad.
Yeah, that they are averaging about every 5 third downs.
Yeah.
They're going to get one.
I want to know what their average third down to go is. Like how many yards they average on third down to go.
Man, Arizona.
I bet it's something stupid. Like they're probably averaging like 7, 8, 9 yards to go on third down. I bet it's bad.
What's bad about this is that Arizona was up 13-7 at halftime. They were up 10-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And they let it fall apart.
They're so
Arizona's
bad.
got Oregon next, by the way.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Arizona sucks.
Arizona's a bad team. So that's going to do it for college football week 3. And now we'll look at college football week 4. We'll start off with the Clemson Tigers and the NC State Wolfpack. Clemson picked to win by 10.5. Of course, according to the Massey Index, Clemson only picked to win by 3.5 on the road in Raleigh. This is a place Clemson struggled at over the past few years. It's just a tough environment to play in. NC State always gets up for this rivalry game. Clemson's had won 6 straight. It was kind of a funny tweet. Some NC State account said, the last 6 years have decided who wins the ACC championship in this game. So he's not wrong, but I would say he's right. This is
Technically, you're onto something, but not really. I mean,
this is an NC State offense led by Devin Leary at quarterback, 794 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 picks. They got a good little rushing game with Knight going on there. They've been able to balance it more, which I feel like we haven't seen from NC State in a while. NC State was, known for passing it more. Now they've kind of balanced it out. But they didn't look good against Mississippi State earlier in the year. Again, on the road, that's a tough environment to play in. Leary still had 303 passing yards and a touchdown, but also threw a pick. That game went back and forth for a bit before Mississippi State kind of pulled ahead. It was 24-3 late. NC State scored toward the end to make it a little more interesting. So I'm kind of unsure what to think about this game. It's like we talked about the Clemson offense. They got to get going. Clemson's predicted to win this game. I think Clemson's going to mix it up some this week in practice.
mm-hmm.
Will Shipley is, of course, now the starting running back, which is exactly what you wanted to see. Maybe he gets more carries this week. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Clemson can do in a tough environment against a team that usually gives them trouble. I think, though, Clemson defense is going to make the difference. I think they're going to slow down Leary because if the NC State defense if NC State couldn't do anything against Mississippi State's defense, I don't think they're going to do that well against Clemson. So I think Clemson should win this game. I think it's going to be close for a while, though. Maybe Clemson pulls away. Hopefully they get like a pick 6, get some easy field possession. I just hope the offense does something this week.
Yeah.
This is the game where NC State was a lot of people's pick to be second in the Atlantic, and especially with Phil Dracovic out now for Boston College. That's that could happen. So, and this is a good NC State defense, allowing 10 points a game. They slowed down Mississippi State pretty well for the most part, and then of course shutout win over Furman, or 45-7 win over Furman, and shutout USF. So, only allowed 17 points this year, or only allowed 31 points this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, sample size small, not a lot of teams. But don't underestimate this NC State team, especially on the road. That's one's at 3:30 on ESPN.
Yeah.
Again, Clemson should win, but I feel like I'm going to say that a lot this year. Clemson should win, but here's what could happen. So,
yeah.
We'll have to see. And now, then we go to the SEC. This is a little bit of a rivalry that has grown up the past few years. It is South Carolina and Kentucky in Columbia. South Carolina picked to lose by 5 according to ESPN in Vegas, but the Massey rating gives the Gamecocks an edge, 3-point edge against the Wildcats. Waffle, what are your thoughts as the Gamecocks get ready for this game? FPI, however, does give the Gamecocks a predicted win over Kentucky in this one. That's at 7 o'clock on ESPN2 on Saturday.
I'm going to start this out by saying I hate Kentucky so much. This is a game that is, it doesn't matter what year it is. This game sucks. It's always a freaking dogfight, with the exception of 2011, Carolina won 54-3. And then last year, Kentucky blew the doors off of us because we were absolutely awful. But pretty much every other matchup since like 2007 is within 1 or 2 scores.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's a 1-score game, and it's just annoying. And coming through the years where South Carolina was good, 2008 to 2013, still Kentucky ruined it. In 2010, we just come off beating. Oh God, give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds, because now I'm freaking. Now I gotta go look at this.
You know, Kentucky's going to run the ball, by the way. It's the thing. If you're at Chris Rodriguez, 377 yards, 4 touchdowns. They're averaging 195 yards rushing. They've thrown a lot more with Levis at quarterback, but he still has 4 picks this year. Yeah. And they only beat Chattanooga 28-23. Again, that's a good Chattanooga team at AFCS, but only a 28-23 win over the Mocs and a 7-point win over Missouri, in which they fumbled 2 touchdowns in the end zone.
Yeah. All right. Turn back the clock. 2010. South Carolina. Spurrier's been here 5 years.
Yeah.
Starting to put it together. We beat Southern Mississippi. We beat Georgia 17-6. Marcus Lattimore, 182 yards. This is his freshman year. Freaking Furman, we take care of them. We go to Auburn with Cam Newton. We lose by 8 on the road. Obviously, we know how good Auburn ended up being that year. They won the national title game. But and then we host number 1 Alabama. And we freaking beat them 35-21. That's the last time Alabama's lost to an SEC East opponent. And I am going to beat that dead horse until it dies. You can't tell me otherwise. I don't care. They always want to bring that up. Like with the Florida game on Saturday, they're just like, yeah, Alabama's all-time or Nick Saban's record against the SEC East is like something ungodly and 3 losses. Yeah. And I'm just like, hey, the last time he lost to an SEC East team, you know who that was, and because I'm a degenerate and so,
like Steven Garcia,
yeah, right, like the quarterback who took him down. But anyway, we beat Alabama. We're 4-1. We just beat the number 1 team in the country. Oh my gosh, the energy is unmatched. We go to Kentucky and lose 31-28 because that's of course we do. Go to Kentucky and lose. We blow it. We're up. I think we're up 28-10 at halftime, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, something like that.
28-10 at halftime. I think we gave up let's see. We gave up a field goal right before halftime. And I remember my dad looking at me and saying, that field goal was big. And I'm just like, Dad, we're up 28-10 at halftime. This is Kentucky, Dad. What are they going to do? Throw a wide open touchdown to Randall Cobb to win the game? That's exactly what they did. And they got the 2-point conversion as well to go up 31-28. Guess who got that? Randall Cobb. And then South Carolina comes out there, throws a Hail Mary at the end of the game. And I'm going to stand by this. I'm sorry. I'm going off on it. I'm not even talking about Carolina this Saturday. But Garcia, Drunk Sia, whatever you want to call him, legend, throws a ball. It's a bad ball to D.L. Moore, but if he hits D.L. Moore on the outside, I think we might be talking about the improbable Garcia throw to win the game against Kentucky. But that's a different story. All right. The point of all this is Kentucky is a thorn in my side, and they annoy the piss out of me, and I cannot stand them. All right. South Carolina has beaten Kentucky once since 2013. That just hurts my soul to say. It's, oh, God. It makes me so mad. But anyway, so this game is going to be annoying. Who knows what's going to happen? It's definitely not going to be a blowout. Definitely not Carolina's way. That's just not how these things go. I don't know. I really think Carolina's going to have a tough time. We're basically really going to see what Carolina's made of. Like, this is good. This is perfect. It's at home. It's a night game at 7. You know that place is going to be freaking rocking.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that has nothing to do with South Carolina playing, if South Carolina comes out in these all black uniforms and they black it out, we're going to lose. If we have a blackout, we are going to get murdered in Williams-Brice, because all I can think about is when we did it 3-4 years ago, coming into this game, same kind of scenario. It's where the SEC nation's going in the morning for their show. They're hyping this game up because both teams, it's early. Both teams are looking like they could possibly do something. Who knows? They hyped it up. Carolina's like, yeah, let's black it out. And we come out first play of the game. Deebo Samuel, slant route, touchdown. Place is nuts. Probably one of the loudest moments in that stadium's history. And then we freaking don't score another touchdown and we lose. Deebo Samuel also breaks his leg. So, like, please, if we wear these black uniforms and we try to black it out against Kentucky, I'm not going to watch. That's a lie. I am going to watch the game. I'm going to watch us get murdered. That's just what's going to happen. But I think South Carolina's going to have a tough time. Kentucky, I think, is a team that a lot of people are kind of expecting to finish third in the SEC East.
Yeah.
They're expected to finish right there behind Georgia and Florida. So, I mean, this would be a huge win for South Carolina if they can get it. But, I mean, the signs are pointing for it to be a good night. It's going to be loud. It's going to be rocking. Doty, hopefully, go ahead and give Doty the start. Let's get him in there, and let's see if we can get something rolling. Hopefully the offensive line, South Carolina's offensive line has got to step it up. We got to have some sort of running game to win this game. We can't put everything on Doty in this game. We're going to have a running game. We got to be able to help our defense out, who I think is good and I think should have a decent game. So, we'll see how it goes.
It's a good thing this game is in Columbia, because South Carolina won the last time these two teams played in Columbia, 24-7 in 2019. South Carolina has not won in Lexington, Kentucky since 2012.
Yeah.
They won 38-17 of the Wildcats. So that has been a struggle. This game has come out of nowhere and been a struggle, because South Carolina used to dominate this series for a while before Kentucky just kind of took over. So, yeah. Always a fun game, always a stressful game, I know, for South Carolina fans is this
How
one.
you know your football program sucks when you get nervous and stressed out over the Kentucky game every freaking year.
Yeah, it reminds me kind of Clemson when they play like Boston College, or NC State, actually. So I think we have the two most stressful games for our teams this week.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. We'll go through this preview for week 4. On Friday, you have Wake Forest at Virginia. All right, we're going to see if Wake Forest can knock off a pretty good team. And there'll probably be a ton of points in this game too.
Yeah.
Because these offenses are very good. Both have very good quarterbacks, Sam Hartman and Brennan Armstrong. To see what the Deacons do on Saturday. Oh, yeah, I start off noon. Georgia and Vandy, baby.
Oh, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, JT Daniels is going to have a field day. Vandy's going to get some sunshine and fresh air. And have
good for them.
Fun. Yeah,
it's a steady dose of vitamin D. That's all they need.
Exactly.
They're just growing boys. They're just children. Like, please, somebody help them.
Yeah. This game we talked about off air. Boise State and Utah State are playing at noon on CBS. Now, that's noon Eastern. That is 10 a.m. in Logan, Utah. I don't know why this game's kicking off at 10 a.m. in Logan, Utah, but I respect it.
I wonder who's calling this game.
What if it's Tony Romo and Jim Nance?
That'd
That'd be amazing.
be amazing. If I wake up, well, I'm actually gonna be at work. Shoot. Well,
Yeah.
no. It's at 12 Eastern time. Sorry, I'm stupid. I'm getting my freaking times messed up. I'll still be coming on for work. But if I cut this game on and Ian Eagle's voice somehow just graces my TV, I'm watching every minute of this game.
Absolutely.
I can imagine him just being like, "Good morning from sunny Logan, Utah."
Let's go. I really want that to happen now.
Oh, please.
Your college game day game is at noon on Big Noon Saturday. Notre Dame and Wisconsin from Soldier Field in Chicago. That's going to be
I didn't even know that's where game day was going. I never even heard where they were going.
Yeah, I honestly thought
Nice.
this game was in Green Bay, actually, but I guess I think it was supposed to be last year, and then, of course, COVID canceled it. So
I really like it when game day. Obviously, game day is normally going to be your prime time, but when the game day game is at noon, that's always
and just
really
rolls
cool.
over. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's always really cool.
Yeah. This should be a fun game. Good defensive battle, I think. Wisconsin trying to get back on track. Of course, they have a loss to Penn State earlier. Wisconsin wearing the special Wisconsin Forever or Wisconsin Forward uniforms. Those look dope. Notre Dame just unveiled their Shamrock Series. This is what it's considered. Uniforms, pretty dope. They got the Chicago flag on the back of their helmets, which is kind of cool. For that, of course, Notre Dame is pretty close to Chicago, so it's pretty cool for them. Texas Tech and Texas play at noon. All I can think of is Michael Crabtree. Just a great ending to the game.
Musburger, Crabtree, pull spray. I love that call. That's such a good call.
One of the best calls, best games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What a game.
The legend of Graham Harrell, man. He was unreal.
Absolutely. And then Texas, of course, almost 10 years to the day, pulls off almost the exact same play later, which is why like 2019, I believe, or so, or 2018. That was wild. So yeah, always a fun rivalry, no matter what the record is. UMass goes the Coastal.
Murder.
Yeah. The Green Chickens. We're gonna have some fun. Show him now. Arkansas, you're feeling pretty confident. You're feeling great about your life. Yeah, guess what? You got to play Texas A&M at Cowboy Stadium, and that never works out for you.
This is going to be interesting. Like we're really going to see if Arkansas is going to put up or they're going to shut up, because this is going to be tough. Texas A&M's defense is wow. Offense is kind of but we'll see.
Offense has been kind of slow to get going. They're the same Jimbo Fisher team every year. They're the most boring team of all time. They're not going to be flashy. They're going to beat you, but they're not going to be flashy while they do it. Right. They're just going to beat you. And so,
unless they play LSU and go into 25 overtimes.
Yeah. Now that's the one time I think Jimbo Fisher's teams had a pulse at Texas A&M on offense.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. See if Arkansas is the real deal or not. Rutgers is at Michigan. Both teams are 3-0. Rutgers' offenses look pretty good. Michigan, of course, has that run game that's looked great. That's going to be an interesting one, I think. I think Michigan's going to probably win this one pretty good. But man, we'll see if Rutgers is the real deal too, because it'll be interesting to see what the Scarlet Knights can do. Plus, it'd just be funny if Rutgers beats Michigan in the big house.
I would love to see Scarlet Knights walk into the big house and then walk out with a win.
Yeah, and then they play Ohio State in a couple of weeks too, so that'd be even funnier if they could win that one.
Rutgers. What if Rutgers wins the Big Ten this year?
Just Rutgers wins the CFP. Let's go. I'm all in.
Please.
Louisville is at Florida State. Malik Williams should have fun.
Sure. Florida State, thanks for getting some sun.
I know, get some fresh air and sunshine.
Vitamin D for everybody.
Yep. Wyoming is at UConn. Wyoming is averaging about 40 points a game. They're going to hit
vitamin D for everybody. Thanks for coming out, UConn. And
the spread is only 29.5. Yeah.
They're not going to win a game. They're not going to win a game.
Actually, Wyoming's averaging 38 points a game. UConn is averaging 12.3 points a game. UConn has an extra game on everybody, by the way, because they play the extra week. So that makes it worse.
200 yards of offense a game.
They have an extra week.
Ole Miss almost got that Saturday.
Yeah, that's gonna be ugly. Another great, just great game, great battle. Kansas and Duke. This is not basketball. We wish it was.
We do wish it was.
Tickets are only $15 for this game, by the way. I'm just saying. If you want to go, Duke has picked to win this game by 16. I feel like Duke's going to mess around, somehow make that closer because they're stupid.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. I don't know. This will be it'll be again, like we said, Bob and D for everybody.
Duke is such like I think I said it last week, and I like using this word because it makes me feel smart, but Duke is an anomaly, like literally, because Duke sucks. Duke is so bad, but they literally have one of the best running backs in the conference.
I know.
And that's where all 16 of those points in that spread, they're all coming from Mateo Durant.
Yeah, he's going to rush for 400 yards and like 4 touchdowns, and they're going to win, and they're going to lose by 3 or win by 8. There's no in between.
Yeah.
Like, I could have against Northwestern last week.
Yeah.
Um,
Northwestern must be awful. I mentioned that too.
I guess so.
They're so up and down. Northwestern, like 1 year is like, oh my gosh, they're really good. They're the hottest and coldest team I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern 1 year. Oh yeah, 10-2. Next year, 1-11. They're so, oh God. They're so
UCLA goes to Stanford. I still don't know if Stanford's good.
I still don't really know if
because they laid that egg against Kansas State. They roll over USC, and USC scored to make it late. Then they roll over Vanderbilt.
on the latest episode of Is Stanford Good or is Dorian Thompson-Robinson good?
I know. We're gonna find out.
Maybe we're gonna find out the answer to one of those questions this week.
Yeah, that's on the Pac-12 network, so you won't get to see it. Sorry. God, put that network on YouTube TV, please. Just
something. I just don't understand. Please, if anybody on the West Coast hears this, somebody's got to reach out to me and be like, "Is it just like on TV there?"
Yeah.
How do you
need to know this.
Not get the SEC network, but you get the Pac-12 network? Which I'm sorry if that happens. That sucks. But what?
Yeah. I have several questions about the way that operates. Tennessee goes to Florida, 7:00 on ESPN. Tennessee has not won the Swamp in a long time. I think it was 2005 is the last time they won in Gainesville.
Ugh.
Of course, they won that game a few years ago. Was that against Georgia? They threw the Hail Mary. Bush Jones.
Yeah. So it's against Georgia.
Yeah, Florida threw the Hail Mary against them. That's right.
Yeah, Felipe Franks off his back foot. Chuck
that man had no business throwing that ball, and it worked. The
Tennessee safety is just like, yeah, you can get behind me. I mean, whatever. It's all yours.
Still playing?
Yeah, God. But see, having said that, Tennessee and Florida, this series has been lopsided.
Entertaining,
but it's been really entertaining. The games have been good.
Yeah, it's one of the weirdest rivalries in all football, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on Winsipedia right now. That's where I looked up like Florida's won 4 in a row, but like 31-19 last year. Okay, 34-3 the year before, 47-21 in Knoxville.
Yeah,
26-20 in 2017. That's the off the back foot touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The last time Tennessee won is 38-28. That was the year Tennessee thought we're going to be something great again.
Yeah,
Bush Jones has us rolling, and then they lose to Oklahoma.
Bush Jones is a clown.
Yeah, but the years before that, 28-27, 10-9, 31-17. So there have been some entertaining games, despite not going the way of the Vols. The last time Tennessee won in Gainesville was 2003. They won 24-10.
Oh my gosh!
That's also the last time Tennessee has won more than 1 in a row against Florida, because they won the next year 30-28 in 2004, and that started that long losing streak they had to the Gators.
I'm just throwing this out there because I want to piss off Tennessee fans. Peyton Manning never beat Florida.
Yep. And Steve Spurrier is the first one that will let you know that too.
Yeah.
Another game. Nebraska's at Michigan State. See if Michigan State can continue it. Nebraska I don't know if they're good either.
Let me just put it this way. I don't think Michigan State needs this win. Nebraska needs this win.
Nebraska needs to win this game. Michigan State, I think, should handle business, but Nebraska's got to do something to win.
Yeah.
This one. This one I'm adding on to because I did not realize it was a night game. North Carolina's at Virginia. All right, plays Georgia Tech at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. I don't know why. That's at Mercedes-Benz instead of at Bobby Dodd right down the road, but
that's dumb. Why?
Yeah. They're playing Clemson there next year, too, which is dumb. I think on Labor Day, too, which is weird. That
is very weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah. Georgia Tech has done that. I think Georgia Tech was supposed to play Notre Dame there last year, but of course COVID messed everything up. So they were like, "Oh, we're gonna play North Carolina there next year." And it's like, why not play a SEC like Auburn?
Yeah,
or someone there. They wanted to play Georgia there, but Georgia said, "Heck no."
Yeah.
So, which makes no sense, but okay. And then, what's this game? Oh, West Virginia at Oklahoma. West Virginia. Oklahoma's been sleepwalking a couple of weeks.
We'll see. We'll see. That should be really interesting. I'm very excited to watch that.
Garrett Doge at quarterback, see if he can put a shock in the system of Oklahoma, because Oklahoma's.
I think it's Daggy.
Daggy, that's right.
I think it's Daggy, but
I think it's Doge because of the meme.
Yeah.
I cost it that.
Yeah.
Your late night slate's not really that great, by the way. After that, I mean, you have Cal Washington. That's on Pac-12 network, so you won't see it.
Yeah, you can see Arizona get sacrificed at 10:30 on ESPN.
Yeah, Colorado and Arizona State. That sounds stupid. That's probably gonna be a very stupid game.
Yeah,
there'll be something entertaining though late night. Oh, New Mexico's at UTEP if you want to watch two horrible teams play each other.
Two horrible teams that aren't that far from each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, kind of a weaker slate this week, but should be some interesting games, maybe some upsets because we've seen a lot so far this year. So we'll see.
Season's been wild. I mean, honestly, I don't think we're. Oh, I would love it, but I don't think we're going to get kind of a repeat 2007. But there's been a lot of close games that should not be close games. So people are flirting with disaster, and it could get crazy.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be 1 week out of nowhere it's going to shock everybody, and this week's kind of under it, kind of quiet. Yeah, I would not be surprised if it's this week.
Yeah, for that.
All right, so we're going to move on to our music segment where we like to talk about music we're vibing to, listening to. Waffle, we'll start with you. What's some new music that you've been listening to?
All right, so I talked about it last week that it was coming out Friday, but Spirit Box's debut album called Eternal Blue, it came out Friday. I gave it a listen. I stayed up late Thursday night into Friday morning to listen to it. It's so good. It's so good. It's better than I thought it was going to be, which there was a lot of hype for it. So this is definitely going to be something that's in my albums of the year at the end, most likely. But the biggest one, I didn't talk about it last week because I didn't see it until later in the week. But a band called Silent Planet, one of my absolute favorites. They announced their fourth album coming out in November. It's called Iridescent. And they have already put out one of my songs of the year last year in a song called Trilogy, which has an unreal breakdown at the end. And they just put out a song called Panopticon about a month ago that, once again, an unreal breakdown. And now they put out a song called Terminal, and it came with the music video. And I mean, this song just, I don't know, like I'm a very emotional guy. But when it comes to, like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't cry, because I definitely do cry. But, like, I don't cry for, like, music moves me to tears. And, like, I'm not afraid to say that. A good song that can just shake you and move you to tears, like, that's just, it's a fantastic feeling. And that's what I got from this, like, watching the music video. And the lyrics all lyrics are subjective. But I mean, they can mean whatever you want, but it's talking, like, the song's called Terminal, and there's mentions of cancer and things like that. So I mean, it's going to be about, death, losing somebody. And I think we've all experienced something like that. So just coupled with the music video, and the music video also ties into the music video for Trilogy, which is just like an overwhelming of my senses. It's so good. But yeah, God, I'm so excited for that album. Bring Me the Horizon also put out a new song, and I don't really know how to feel about it.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that. I heard it. It's like very new.
Yeah.
I mean, the Horizon. It's
I
fine.
don't dislike it. I don't really think I'm going to sit here and play it over and over again. But
Yeah. I'll listen to it a couple of times and be like, it's fine.
They've always just been ahead of the curve, and like
Mhm.
Bring Me the Horizon is near and dear to my heart because when I was a middle schooler, like I grew up, my father was classic rock all day, every day, ZZ Top, AC/DC. So I was raised on that. Eventually from that, I branched off into, Metallica. Oh my gosh, I love Metallica as I was growing up. And then Slipknot, and I progressively just got kind of heavier and whatever as I went on. In middle school, I stumbled across on the dial-up internet. I stumbled across "Pray for Plagues" by Bring Me the Horizon, and it literally blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see Bring Me the Horizon go from "Pray for Plagues," which is, once again, if you're listening to this and you don't know metal, you're going to sound like I'm speaking a foreign language, but it's deathcore, and it basically means it's high, it screams, all screams, no cleans. You can't understand anything they're saying. And it's also made in 2007, so the production's kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then they progressively kind of get softer as their albums go into the next one, where it's more of like a metalcore. Then 2010, they release album called "There Is a Hell," and that's their masterpiece in my eyes. I freaking love that album. And then they go Sempiternal in 2013. They went softer. But looking back on it now, it's not that soft. But they did the sound change before anybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones they're the trendsetters. And then they came out and went "That's the Spirit" when we were both in college, and completely flipped it upside down, incorporating orchestra, instruments, softer songs. Oliver Sykes was singing a lot more than he's ever done in the past. And then they put out Amo, and whoa.
Yeah.
That album was wild. Like it's completely soft. It's pop. And then they went back to heavier stuff with survival horror. Mm-hmm. And now they're back to this with the new single "Die for You." So I mean, they're so ahead of the curve, and they can appeal to anybody. They have something for everybody, whether you're a diehard metalhead, whether you listen to nothing but top 40 songs on the radio, they have something for everybody. So yeah, that's kind of me. What about you, bro?
Absolutely. I gotta give a shout out, of course, to our boys down at Wiltwither.
Yes.
Came out last week with Black Summer featuring Kadeem France of Loathsome, which is huge for them. They're a local band that we discovered one day. We were at Ground Zero in Spartanburg. We talked about that. And they're kind of local to South Carolina. And, the boys have been doing work, putting in all the hard work. And, man, it is wild to see them work with some of these great big time bands, and they've just done a great job, and it's a great song. Go check it out. It's Black Summer by Wiltwither. Awesome song. Music videos out too as well.
Can't say enough about them. Nick and Tyler, Dakota, Josh, Jamie, all of them in the band. They're all amazing. Nick and Tyler, ones that I talk to the most, and they're both great guys. And Nick, a fantastic vocalist. Tyler, killing it on the drums. Also with his graphic design stuff is crazy too. So they're both great guys, and I'm excited for the future with them. This song is massive. Couldn't be more proud.
Yeah, absolutely. It's big time for them, and hopefully big things continue for them in the future. So that's what we're listening to. We'll be back next week to talk about more music. And now we go to the NFL. And I know Waffle's got a lot of thoughts on the Titans Seahawks game because he was going through it for a bit. You heard it at the beginning of the show in the cold open, his reactions to the field goal to tie it, and then the game winner. He's still alive.
Yeah.
Still alive. But we'll start first with the Bills, and the Bills roll over the Dolphins 35-0. Offense started off real hot and then kind of cooled off a bit. Looked kind of disappointing. Tyler Bass missed the field goal, which is rare for him. And I'm thinking, here we go again. Bill's going to look rough on offense in the second half. Nope, Josh Allen shuts me up, and first drive goes down and scores another touchdown pass to Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
Defense does their job, shuts out the Dolphins. Again, Tua Tagovailoa gets knocked out of this game with a rib injury, and you really do. You hate to see that for him because he was a really good player. And, I hate that the Dolphins weren't 100% healthy for this game, but he got sacked twice on the opening drive of this game. Got to mention Greg Rousseau got his first career sacks in this game. He had 2. Micah Hyde had a sack, 6 sacks for the Bills. They sacked Jacoby Brissett, who came in 4 times and forced a pick. Trey White hasn't been great so far to start off. He's been kind of quiet, but my goodness, Micah Hyde and Levi Wallace have been flying all over this defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
For the Bills. I mean, Trey White still had 9 tackles and a tackle for loss in this game. So he's still good. AJ Espinoza played great. Tremaine Edmonds played great. Jerry Hughes had a good game. The defense came to play. I think they were tired after giving up those 20 unanswered points by the Steelers. Again, one of those was on a block punt. I get it. But still, looked great. Stephon Diggs had 4 catches, 60 yards. Josh Allen gave the ball around to everybody because Diggs had catch. Sanders, Beasley, Knox, Singletary, Moss, and McKenzie all had catches.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary, 82 yards rushing, which is great to see him finally get the run game going. Zach Moss only had 26 yards rushing, but 2 touchdowns. That's big for him. His aunt had actually passed away. He found out before the game and then went out and played. So thoughts and prayers with Zach Moss. But, when they needed him to get something going, he did. Devin Singletary broke off a long run. Josh Allen had 35 yards rushing, which is you got to get him rushing at times to go in there. So, all in all, great job, I think. Again, Josh Allen, still some things to work on, still for a pick, only 17 of 33 passing. But still, when Josh Allen was on, he was on.
Yeah.
And they spread the ball out, and this defense is tough. This defense is going to make you work for it. And again, there is going to be an asterisk. I get it with Jacoby Brissett playing instead of Tua Tagovailoa, but when he was in one drive, he got sacked twice.
Yeah.
And the rushing game couldn't get going for the Dolphins either. They just had 71 yards rushing. Myles Gaskin had 25 yards. He was their leading rusher. So that's a big time thing for the Bills to go on the road in such a hostile place to play against a division rival and to obliterate them like this. That's a big time win for the Bills early. And that one, hopefully that momentum carries over next week.
Yeah.
And so, good win for the Bills. Very happy they got the shutout. And now we'll go to the Titans and the Seahawks. The most stress-free game of the day, right, Waff? Overtime game. Like I said, Russell Wilson helped me win fantasy this week, and then I told him, all right, you can put it in park now because I need Waff to have some happiness. And
Thank you for caring.
Thank
you for caring about me.
Yep. But yeah, and it came down to Fat Randy, and Fat Randy pulls through. So Waff, let's take it away.
Oh man. So this was crazy. It's just like last year. Everything's the same. We had this game looks like an almost exact carbon copy of the first time we played the Texans. It's unreal. An overtime winner. Oh man. All right. So let me just take you. Let me do play by play. Let me just take you drive by drive and let you feel what I felt. All right.
The snaps didn't come to about the third quarter, but I saw him going through it on Facebook and Twitter, and I was like, "This man's going through it hard right now."
Yeah. So let's set the scene. It's the first time fans have been at Lumen Field in Seattle in a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, that place is tough to play anyway. And now you got these restless fans who haven't been to a game in over a year. You knew it was going to be loud. It was going to be raucous. This was going to be the ultimate test after taking an absolutely terrible loss last week. This is going to be the ultimate test of strength and will to go into Seattle and come out with a win. So going into it, my hopes are not high. I mean, I'm talking about FPI's got like Seahawks at 90% chance to win, and I'm just like, that's kind of right. It sounds right.
There's a reason I started Russell Wilson this week in fantasy.
Yeah, and there's a reason I picked the Seahawks to win in my NFL pick'em. But you know what? All right, start out first drive, Seattle 3 plays 9 yards punt. Okay, cool. We get the ball. Oh God! All right, we apparently it looks like we haven't figured anything out since last year. Not last year, last week. And we punt it 3 plays, 9 yards. Seattle goes down, gets a field goal. Okay, once again, here we are. Bend not break. Stopped them. They got a field goal. Titans go on a 13-play, 70-yard drive. Get all the way down there. End up kicking a field goal. Obviously, you'd much rather have a touchdown there. But hey, we moved. We've positive. Wow. Positive yards. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
Positive yards for the Titans. 13 plays, 70 yards, field goal, whatever. Wanted a touchdown, whatever. Seahawks come out, 9 plays, 23 yards, punt. Here we go. Titans again, 7 plays, 68 yards, field goal. All right, now I'm annoyed. Come on. All right, now we're driving. We're able, but we're moving the ball. We're just moving. And then we kick a field goal. We're up 6-3. Seahawks come out, 3 plays, 83 yards, touchdown, 63-yard touchdown to Tyler Lockett. And part of me is just like, hey, you're playing Tyler Lockett in the Seahawks. You're going to have that. Like, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
And this gave me serious flashbacks to last year when we played the Vikings and Justin Jefferson went off against us, because it almost looks the same. It's just on the other side of the field. It's a deep ball down the sideline. 2 Titans converge on it, but they both get fooled. Now, they don't quite fall down like they did against Justin Jefferson, but they both get fooled off a great cutback by Tyler Lockett. He takes it all the way to the house. Oh, God. Great. Titans get the ball back. Okay, got to answer here. What do we do? Just like last week, the offensive line sucks. Ryan Tannehill gets sacked for his 3rd fumble in 2 games, 3rd lost fumble. Let me add that. That is recovered by the Seahawks deep in our territory. They run 2 plays, score a touchdown at 17-6. Oh, God. All right. I'm pissed now. I'm really upset. I'm just like, all right, we have to score a touchdown. We have to do something. 8 plays, 63 yards later, we settle for a field goal. But here's where my rant starts. All right. 8 plays, 63 yards. Titans go all the way down there. Offense, once again, we're moving the ball. We're getting all the way down there. Ryan Tannehill has connected with Julio Jones. A.J. Brown's not really doing a whole lot, but Julio's showing up. He's already had like a 51-yard bomb and a couple other catches. Julio's looking good, like he's here, ready to play. All right. It is 3rd and 5 at the Seattle 6. Ryan Tannehill stands in the pocket, runs around, throws it to the back of the end zone. Julio Jones, an unreal grab in the back of the end zone. And looking live, you see 1 foot, you see the 2nd foot, it's going to be close. Looking live, I'm just like, oh, God, yeah, touchdown. Okay, we're back in it. And they go to look at it. And here's one of my 2 issues. I have seen this play 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never heard. Now, I could be wrong, and I guess I am because I said it on air. But I don't know where I went wrong and where I missed the fact that when you catch a ball and you get 1 foot down, it might just be something specific to the NFL, because I feel like college is definitely different. You catch the ball, you get your 1 foot down, and the 2nd foot comes down, and Julio's toe hits in bounds clearly.
Mm-hmm. It hits first.
Yeah. And then the rest of the foot comes down. And that is, it's, oh, God, it's even closer than that. It's right there on the line. And I didn't know that the whole foot has to come down. I thought, because then I don't understand.
I've seen people drag the foot.
Then with a toe drag, like what? I don't understand that.
I think it happened in the Super Bowl. Didn't the Steelers win a Super Bowl against the Cardinals by dragging the foot on that pass?
I just don't understand this gray area. And obviously, of course, it has happened to us. And I'm just like, what? But that's not even the issue. Like, okay, fine, whatever. If that's the rule or not, and I sent you the picture, cue the Julio Jones picture with his foot in the end zone. Yeah, he caught the ball. He got both feet down. Look at this freaking picture. He got both feet down.
Like you can see, he's wearing red and blue shoes. I'm going to zoom in on this. I'm zooming on it right now. That bottom red cleat is in the green part and there's the white part. You can literally see.
Yes. He caught this ball. They called it a touchdown on the field, which I'm thinking even afterwards, like even if he didn't get in, and this was before, like I saw this picture like a drive after because the Titans put it up.
Yeah.
But even if he didn't catch it, like they called it a touchdown on the field, I think it's going to be very hard for them to come out and say, hey, inconclusive video evidence is showing that his foot was out of bounds. No touchdown. What do? Exactly that. No freaking touchdown. I'm heated. I'm upset about it now.
I don't think there's enough to overturn that. I didn't think there was live, and then seeing that picture, I'm like, that is a touchdown.
Yeah, and so that's the first strike against the refs. Like, I've already had a tough time with referees with the South Carolina game from 2 weeks ago. But this is ridiculous. And like I said, that's the first strike. And there's plenty more to come, so stay tuned. But so now Tennessee has to settle for another freaking field goal. Here comes Fat Randy to kick his third one. And he boots it through. Okay, great. Thanks, Randy. It's not what I wanted, but you know what? I guess I'll take it. And then, oh, geez. Here we go. There's literally right over a minute left in the half. Yeah. We get the ball after halftime, and I'm just like, all right, we just have to hold them to a field goal. We would love it if they didn't score. That's all we got to do. What do they – 7 plays, 75 yards, 48 seconds. They did not even use a timeout. They had 2. They took them to halftime.
Tennessee called the timeout.
And we just and Vrabel needed to take one because we forgot how to play defense. And I put it on Facebook. I'm just like, here it is. Cue of course it was going to happen. Titans score a touchdown, get back in this game. Oh, wait a minute. It was reversed. Now we got to settle for a field goal. Oh, I forgot how to play defense. How stupid. So now it's 24-9 going into halftime. And oh God, I'm fuming. I'm so pissed. It's awful. So, but about that time, the picture comes out, and I'm sitting here fuming over this picture, and I'm just like posting on everything. Every NFL ref is a donkey. You suck. I hate you. Look at this picture, you freaking idiot. Like, whatever. Julio Jones caught the ball. That's the last thing I'm going to say. All right. So, second half, Titans come out. Titans have to get a touchdown. What do? Hey, here we go. Offense rolling now. Derrick Henry caps off this 80-yard drive with a 9-yard touchdown run where he gets the handoff, runs to the right, cuts it back across field, scores. Hey, Henry's back. All right, sweet. Love it. We're back in the games 24-16. Seahawks get the ball, 8 plays, punt, nice. Titans get the ball, drive it all the way down the field, all the way down there. Just to settle for a field goal attempt. And this time, Fat Randy is not so kind. Fat Randy pushes it to the right, and I died. I died for at least a quarter and a half. Unconscious. No heartbeat. Because I knew exactly what was going to happen. My body can only take 34 missed field goals. The 35th missed field goal was what would kill me. And it killed me. And this is just a break to show you, to talk once again about the Titans kicker situation. I could kick myself. I did not save the tweet. But I'm going to go back and look at it, and I'm just going to talk over it because I can't think about it now. I'm going to send it to you, and we're going to put it in the podcast. But this picture right here of the Titans kickers that they've had in literally 2 years, it's like 8 or 9 guys. It's unbelievable. Us and the Minnesota Vikings, how can we not find a kicker? That's utterly ridiculous. It blows my freaking mind. And I know I talked a lot about it last week, but unbelievable. All right. Titans miss a field goal. Seahawks get it. 3 plays, 63 yards, touchdown. We're dead. It's over.
This is the point when I get a Snapchat to Waffle and tell him thank you for having Russell Wilson throw that because I just won my fantasy league with that pass. So
Yeah.
at this point, the boy is going through it, and I'm not making it any better.
A 68-yard pass from Russell Wilson to Freddie Swain on an absolutely busted coverage. And I'm screaming at the TV, what are we doing? I got no words. All right, it's 30-16. But you know what? The sure-footed Jason Myers missed the extra point.
Mm-hmm.
And in the heat of the moment, I did think about that, and I was like, what shred of optimism I had left was like, wow, that might come into play. But the other 99.9% of me who was just like, it doesn't matter. We suck. We're done. I'm dead. I'm lying here dead on the floor. Whatever. All right. Well, Titans come out, do exactly what they got to do. 2 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. One of those being a 60-yard Derrick Henry rushing touchdown. He's back, baby. He is here. After week 1, Derrick Henry had like 60 rushing yards. After week 2, he's back in first for the NFL rushing yards leader, which is just unbelievable. All right. Long touchdown, Derrick Henry. We're back in at 30-23. Hey, my mood changed. I got as you saw in my Facebook post, I got a hit from the defibrillator and I started twitching a little bit. I'm not alive yet, but you know, we're kind of here. Seattle punts, 3 plays, goes 3 and out. Uh-oh. Hey, here we go. Titans go 10 plays, turn it over on downs. Oh, I'm dead again. Nope, flat line. Seattle comes out here, punts. Titans get it. 3 minutes, 44 seconds, drive it all the way down there, score a touchdown. Tie the game at 30. And here we go into overtime. Seahawks try a little play at the end of the game where they just Titans stack literally 7 people on the 5-yard line to prevent them from scoring, and they try a little screen pass, and it doesn't get anywhere. So we go to overtime. Tennessee wins the toss, much like the Texans game from last year, but Tennessee does not immediately walk it off. They justify this overtime as a fair overtime by giving the Seahawks the ball. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely missed my other little referee.
The first down.
It didn't matter because Seattle ended up giving us the ball back. But we're going to throw that up here right now. And I just want to show y'all this still image of Chris Carson reaching out for this first down. And I would like everybody at home to give me their general assessment on whether or not he got there or not. Richard, do you think that he got the first down?
I don't think so. I mean, unless I can see on this tackle, his leg is still on the Titans defender, unless he made a little second effort that I'm not seeing. But as of right now, based on the way his body's turning, I don't think he would have gotten it. Half a yard short.
He did not make a second effort. He is at least half a yard short. The referee at the bottom of the screen already gives him a generous spot, and it's like right there at the line.
Yeah.
And then she just looks at the change and she's like, move. And I'm just like, no. Okay, hold on. I'm like, okay, it's one thing that you screwed up the spot by giving it a much better spot than it was supposed to be. How do you not measure that? And then Vrabel criticism. How do you not challenge that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in all fairness, it ended up not mattering. Titans got that back. Titans definitely needed that. If he'd have challenged it, he'd have won it. I'm assuming. So it wouldn't have mattered about a timeout. But had he challenged it and they screwed us again, he'd have lost the timeout that we desperately needed at the end of the game. So whatever. All right. Now we get to my third gripe. And this one, once again, didn't matter because Tennessee wins this ball game. But, oh, my gosh, Richard. So we get the ball, go 3 and out, but they call Jamal Adams for a roughing the pass on Ryan Tannehill. Gives us new life. It didn't matter. So we punted to the Seahawks. Seahawks get the ball, don't do anything. They punt back to us. But on third down, Russell Wilson gets sacked for minus 12 yards. And I am still not convinced that this is not a walk-off safety.
Yeah, that's a safety. That is a safety. But he never went down. And also,
Right.
Who'd he throw it to?
Because yes, there's so many things going on in this play, and I know it's quick, and I know it's something you're definitely not expected to see every day. But Russell Wilson, the point of contact is made right there at the goal line. And you can argue it's just dependent on how they call it. Like, do you call forward progress stop as soon as his little itty bitty finger touches Russell Wilson the slightest? Or do you call forward progress stop when he's got him fully wrapped up? Because when he is fully wrapped up in his arms, the ball is in the end zone.
Yeah. And then
Russell Wilson's head might be outside the end zone, but the ball is in the end zone. And as far as I'm concerned, that's all that freaking matters. Nobody ever cares about where you're at. They're always about the ball. And that is a walk-off freaking safety.
And then when he absolutely just yeets it out of bounds, he's in the end zone.
He's in the end zone. He yeets it to nobody, and he is not outside of the pocket. I watched it 17 times. The pocket, the right tackle is basically lined up on that right hash, and that's exactly where he's at. He is not outside of the pocket. So there's 7 strikes for the referees on one play there. Like, get these clowns out of here. Like, I thought Jerome Boger was calling this game because he sucks. Now, he called the Titans game last week, but we play like crap. So, but, I hate refs. I cannot freaking stand them. It's so bad because that's a walk-off safety, walk-off grounding in the end zone. I don't care what you call it, but it didn't matter. Tennessee got the ball back, short field, runs Henry 4 times. Fat Randy on for the win. And he did it. The Titans go to Seattle and absolutely steal a game from Seattle. Unreal. I am addicted to the adrenaline rush. That's why I love this team so much, because you got to go to the lowest of the lows, which is getting beat by 25 to the Cardinals, to appreciate the crap like this, where they rip your heart out for one half and then the second half do the most improbable thing you've ever seen in your life. It's unreal. It's so crazy. I'm so happy to come away with a win, because now my outlook on the season is completely 180. Yep. It's so different now going into a game this week where we'll talk about it in a minute, but is Carson Wentz going to play? The Titans have the Colts at home with Carson Wentz with 2 sprained ankles, which is that's also crazy. That's ridiculous. Yeah. And then you go Jets, Jags. Like, this is there's a
chance to have a great start to this season now.
Right. And things are looking better. The defense obviously had 3 or 4 communication breakdowns that hurt bad, because they resulted in probably 3 Seahawk touchdowns.
But other than that, you kind of held Russell Wilson in check.
When it mattered, they did. When it mattered, the second half of the fourth quarter and overtime, the defense did what they had to do. The offense is looking like it did last year. Fantastic. Now, A.J. Brown had a bad day, but, I mean, if Julio's going to do that, Derrick Henry's going to come alive for 180-something yards. And also, Derrick Henry in the passing game, I think Derrick Henry had 6 catches. That's a career high. Yeah. If Todd Downing is going to try to develop that with him and make Derrick Henry a threat out of the backfield, now, Derrick Henry is not going to be like a Christian McCaffrey threat out of the backfield, because nobody else is. But, I mean, if Derrick Henry can – if we can at least rely on him –
I mean,
to
he's
do
hard to
anything
tackle
in the pass game, if we can rely on him to do anything in the pass game, that's huge. Yeah. And the offensive line, no Taylor Lewan. Roger Saffold was out for the majority of the fourth quarter and all of overtime. So we're throwing in Ty Sambrailo and Aaron Brewer, who Aaron Brewer sucks. I'm sorry. I appreciate him coming in and getting the dub. That's not who you want playing as your freaking left guard. No. Sambrailo played a lot last year because Taylor Lewan was hurt, so he's experienced. Coming in with those 2, and then Ben Jones, Nate Davis, and then Quisenberry getting it done. Not having your starting tight end Anthony Ferguson, not having your starting safety and Amani Hooker. Like, it's unreal. There's no way we should have won this game, but we did.
Yeah, that's hey, you gotta steal some of them sometime and be a successful team, and they stole one from Seattle for sure. But you'll take it, and like I said, the schedule on paper is a lot easier now.
Right.
You got Jets, Jags, and you have a banged up Colts team with you don't know who's starting at quarterback.
Yeah.
So yeah, that gets this a little bit easier on paper for a while. So build up some of that momentum.
We'll see how it goes.
End the year. Looking back at week 2, fun week 2 still. And the Thursday night games, always on paper, look like these teams are horrible. I hate them, but they have some bangers, man. New York and Washington, heck of a game. Giants had it won, and Dexter Lawrence. They say he jumped off sides. I saw another angle on it. It was close. It was very
Sorry, I
close.
forgot I was muted. I saw that angle too, and I think he jumped it absolutely perfectly.
I think he timed it perfectly.
Yeah.
And someone
like,
just reacted too quickly.
Not to be a Titans homer, but I obviously am a Titans homer. When the Titans beat the Kansas City Chiefs and Joshua Kalu absolutely blocked the field goal for the Chiefs 2 years ago, the year that we made it to the AFC Championship game,
Mm-hmm.
when Joshua Kalu had got the most perfect jump I've ever seen, and that's exactly what Dexter Lawrence has looked like. I don't think he was offside at all.
Yeah, perfect jump. Didn't work, but Taylor Heineke, man, has come in for the Washington football team, and he had a tough first ever start in the playoffs last year against Tom Brady, and still did pretty fine. Now he had 336 passing yards. So the legend from Old Dominion and NCAA football 14 gets the win, which is good for him.
Yes, sir.
Daniel Jones was the rushing leader too for the Giants. That's concerning because you have Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about Daniel Jones. Yeah. I really don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting out there. The Joe Judge era is not starting off to a great start at all in New York. Cincinnati and Chicago. Chicago beats the Bengals. Joe Burrow for 3 picks in a row in this game.
Yeah.
And then we got to see Justin Fields.
Did.
He looked okay. Neither of these teams look great.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow looked bad. Looked real bad.
They have to start Fields. Like, if they're going to do it, throw him in now. Like,
yep.
Now that the time is here, you got to do it. Do not trot out, hurt Andy Dalton or whatever you're going to do. Put him in now.
Matt Nagy came out there and said, we're going to use different schemes and packages. Don't. Just start him. Just start him. It's so frustrating, man. And if I was a Bears fan, I'd be so frustrated.
I know.
Browns hold on to beat the Texans 31-21. Tyrod Taylor looked good till he got hurt.
He can't catch a freaking break, man.
He cannot, man. I hate it for him. Ever since getting benched by Nathan Peterman, his career's gone downhill, and I hate it for him because he seems like a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he helped lead the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in years. And since then, man, just been downhill and gets hurt. And hopefully he's okay. He's not going to play against the Panthers this week, is what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Also, apparently Baker Mayfield got hurt, had his left shoulder popped back into socket. After he tried to make a tackle on a pick, and then comes in and has a 5-yard touchdown run, then throws a touchdown pass too. So I don't know how good the Browns are this year. They haven't looked great so far in these early games, but I mean, it takes some time to get rolling. We'll see what they can do in the future. Rams go to Indianapolis, beat the Colts 27-24. This game was wild at the end. Just went back and forth. Like you said, Carson Wentz did not play the last snap because he has 2 sprained ankles. Apparently, Matthew Stafford's banged up with a sore right thumb.
Yeah.
They went back and forth. Ended up being the Matt Gay and Rodrigo Blankenship show. Bunch of field goals in this one, but Rams get the win. Cooper Kupp looks incredible. Still,
what a start to the year for him, man.
9 catches, 163, and 2 touchdowns in this one. Him and Stafford have connected real quickly. It's good to see. The New England Patriots beat the Jets 25-6, and Zach Wilson throws 4 picks. 2 in a row to start. I started the Patriots defense in fantasy, and I looked like the biggest genius of all time.
Yeah, that was a good call.
The Patriots, man, Zach Wilson did not look good, and that's rough. And it's going to be a long year because his offensive line is not going to help him, and his receivers did not get open for him.
Yeah,
and that was against the Patriots, who I still think aren't a great team. Like, they're going to be good because Bill Belichick's coaching them.
Yeah.
They just aren't as talented as they have been. And, oh boy, they got to play the Bills in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that Bills defense will eat you alive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. San Francisco beats Philadelphia 17-11. Well, Jalen Hurts and all the offense, that went away real quickly.
Yeah, this was an ugly game. San Francisco defense is obviously very good. But this was just ugly on both sides of the ball in terms of offense. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, 22 of 30 for 189 and a touchdown. And San Francisco's rushing game, now that Mostert is out for the year,
Mm-hmm.
looks like it's taken a bit of a hit. They had 117 total rushing yards, but Elijah Mitchell had 42 yards on 17 carries.
Yeah.
Hasty had 38 yards on 5. Garoppolo had 11 carries for 20 yards. Like they're gonna hurt without a rushing game. They got Devo Samuel. They also have Dwan Jennings in
Yes.
Tennessee, and George Kittle had a bad day. George Kittle had 4 catches for 17 yards.
Kyle Juszczyk, he got hurt. I think he was banged up and didn't have a great game either. So because I gave him the ball for one rush and he got hurt right there. So
yeah, Juszczyk.
So not a good day for either of these offenses. 49ers had a nice little 8-minute drive that kind of iced it.
Mm-hmm.
Or excuse me, put them up 14-3, and that the defense held, and they got a field goal from Robbie Gould. And the Eagles tried to run the Philly special without Nick Foles, and it did not work at all. I don't know if you've seen that. They threw it out the end zone on 4th down. Yeah. So
right.
Interesting to see. Las Vegas beats Pittsburgh's 26-17, and we got to talk about Derek Carr because Derek Carr
how about him, man?
Looking good. 382 yards this week. Henry Ruggs looked amazing. 113 yards, had that one catch where he was wide open on a broken play, and you can't leave that man wide open.
No.
And he looked
too fast.
Yeah, he looked really good. I know he didn't have a great game, but Najee Harris looked fine. At
stiff
times.
Arm, man. That freaking stiff arm is unreal.
His first career touchdown. He only had 38 yards rushing, but 43 yards receiving. So getting him to work. Deontay Johnson still had a good game. So Pittsburgh's still good. Big Ben still hasn't looked great in any of these games. 295 yards passing, but a touchdown and a pick. So and he's banged up already. So it's football season when Ben Roethlisberger's got 2 ice packs on his shoulders. So
right. Raiders are a lot like the Cardinals. Cardinals last year were good, but they just were not consistent. And that's how the Raiders have been. So now both of those teams, now the Cardinals, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but they weren't too consistent on Sunday. And as compared to week 1. But the Raiders now 2-0. Let's just see. You got to give me at least 5 or 6 weeks of watching the Raiders before I can tell you whether or not they're actually going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Carolina knocks off New Orleans 26-7. New Orleans was missing a lot of coaches and players because of COVID stuff. But Jameis didn't look good at all. Jameis had another one of his games where a week after looking like an MVP, back down looking bad. Sam Darnold didn't look bad, 305 yards passing. Christian McCaffrey had another good week, and DJ Moore looked good. So Carolina, I don't know if Carolina's good. They held Alvin Kamara to nothing.
Yeah, I think Carolina's defense is going to be sneaky good. They are overperforming right now.
Yeah, they've looked good the past 2 weeks against Jets and then a banged-up New Orleans team. They got Houston next. They should handle business there. So I'm interested to see what they do, though, against, the Bucs with Tom Brady and all of them, just to see how they do in that. But, Carolina could sneak into the playoffs because of their defense this year for sure. Jacksonville and Denver. Denver knocks off the Jags 23-13. Another rough day for Trevor Lawrence, who had some dimes, still has those sparks in him, but has no help from his offensive line.
No, his line's so bad.
Yeah, but 14-33, 118 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. So, it's going to be a rough year. We kind of expect that for him. But Teddy Bridgewater, I may have to eat my words because he has turned the clock back and looks pretty good.
Yeah.
328 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, was sacked 3 times. That offensive line needs some help there too. But man, he's looked solid. And this Denver defense, again, they play the Giants and the Jags, but with Von Miller back, this Denver defense is a whole lot better. And Von Miller really didn't do a whole lot. He had a sack and 2 tackles for loss, and that was it. Yeah. But he's still just a presence out there. Yeah. That makes you think. And again, going up against 2 bad offensive lines. Again, they are in the West with the Chargers, with the Raiders, with the Chiefs. But man, to get these are the games they have to win.
Yeah.
And they've done well in those games.
Yeah. Cortland Sutton, a big day for him too. Yeah. 9 receptions, 159 yards. It's nice to see him back after his injury last year.
Yeah. Arizona and Minnesota. First of all, Aqib Talib and Gus Johnson, make them call every single game because that was awesome.
Yeah, they were great.
So good. And this game was amazing too. So we got full on Gus Johnson.
Yeah.
In this 34-33 win for Arizona. Of course, you've probably seen the radio call by the Vikings The missed field goal by Greg Joseph. He thought he made it, and then just heartbreak when he realizes that's no good.
That guy is just he's a Vikings fan. He's obviously been calling the Vikings. I think he's been calling them since 2002.
Yeah.
He has seen some heartbreak, dude. And his calls, I love his voice, and I love the amount of passion he puts into it. Because like you listen to him and like like he's Vikings or die. And I love that.
Yeah.
But I really want something good to happen to them. They had the Minneapolis Miracle, which was awesome for them. But obviously they went out next week and got pooped on.
Blasted.
And he was a part of the Cardinals, same team, knocking the Vikings out of the playoffs, back in the day with Randy Moss and all them, which was part of that Falcons documentary, oddly enough. But and then he was the Brett Favre call when he throws across his body.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is a Detroit, man. This is a Super Bowl. I freaking love it. He's so good, and he deserves something good to happen to him.
Exactly.
But the Vikings are cursed, man.
Yeah. And Kirk Cousins had a great game. 244 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook had a great game, 22 rushes, 131 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray was a normal Kyler Murray game, I feel like. 3 touchdowns and 2 picks, 400 yards passing.
400 yards, man.
Yeah. Rushing touchdown as well. Rondell Moore, good to see him doing so well at this level. DeAndre Hopkins had a touchdown, 54 yards. AJ Green had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Good to see him turning back the clock a little bit here. No defense, however, for these teams in this one.
Yeah,
except for Nick Vigil in his touchdown pick 6. Same for Xavier Woods to the pick, but God, yeah, Greg Joseph just missed that kick, and man, great game, but got heartbreak for the Vikings.
Cardinals had 1 sack. That pisses me off.
God,
Chandler Jones had nothing. Chandler Jones didn't even have a tackle. God, that's so stupid, man.
Yep. Tampa Bay beats the Falcons 48-25. This game was close. Made you think, all right, Falcons may have something. And 2 pick sixes for Mike Edwards in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
And Chris Godwin gets a touchdown catch. And Tom Brady's still good. I hate it. I hate it so much. But 276 yards and 5 touchdown passes. Mike Evans got to work.
Unbelievable, dude.
God. Tom Brady's going to be playing until he's 58, man. And it's not fair.
Yes. I can definitely see him playing into his 50s. Like, it's unreal what we're seeing from him at the age he is, and just how well he takes care of his body. Like, I think him and LeBron are going to go hand in hand, because they're both the same. Like, they're both still at the top of their game, and they're both up there in age. But LeBron's going to play forever. You can't tell me he's not. And so is Tom Brady. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Like, think of all the guys who have left. Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees. All those quarterbacks have left. And they entered the league either after he did or at the same time he did.
Right.
This is wild, man. And he's still going at this level. It's insane, man. Falcons are bad. Falcons have no defense.
Falcons are not good. Yeah.
Matt Ryan showed some sparks for those 2 picks. Again, one was not his fault, one was tough, but still.
Yeah.
Yikes. Cowboys knock off the Chargers 20-17 on a last-second field goal. Greg Zuerlein.
Whack.
What? I saw people talking about this morning on, I believe, Get Up. Mike McCarthy's time management toward the end almost screwed him.
Yeah.
He let like 12 seconds run off the clock before he called timeout. And it was like, okay. But yeah, this is an ugly game for both teams, I feel like, for a little bit. Dak didn't look great. Tony Pollard got more carries and looked a lot better than Zeke did. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think the Cowboys may just win the division because the division's bad. But not a great game to watch. Keenan Allen, 108 yards. Oh, we got to talk about this. The taunting penalties, stupid. Yeah. So stupid. 11 penalties called this year in 2 weeks. That was the same amount that was called last year. And like if you're going out and telling them like I will murder your family, I get that. There's a line.
Yeah.
But if you're celebrating a
Right.
play,
Yeah, like the one in the Titans game with, and it ended up not mattering. The Titans turned over on downs on that drive, but it just all he did was like, I mean, oh my God, I am stumbling over my words today. It didn't really matter. Ryan Tannehill overthrew AJ Brown just a little bit, so, and then the defensive back gets up and just kind of flexes, not like when I think like what warrants a taunting penalty, like I think about DJ Swearinger when he bent down over Andre Ellington. Like, okay, yes. Like when you're gonna squat down and flex on the dude and like get all up in there. Yeah.
Like
okay.
Keenan Allen kind of warranted it. He kind of got in the face of this Dallas Cowboy player.
Yeah.
I can see that. But like the Bills had the same thing happen to them. I think it was Levi Wallace, I believe. He broke up a pass and then kind of like he kind of said something, I think, to the receiver. And then they're like, flag. I'm like, come on, man. Like, unless again, like
I'm not a fan.
Unless it's like getting in their face,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so dumb. And I saw somebody tweeted out like the XFL that comes back in 2023. Someone said they could automatically steal half the audience. They said you get 10 points for taunting.
Yeah.
And then your Sunday night football game, instant classic. Ravens knock off the Chiefs 36-35.
Amazing.
Jordan Harbaugh put his trust into Lamar Jackson to get the 4th and 1 play. And he got it.
Yeah.
Man,
crazy.
Instant battle every time these two teams play. And this time Lamar finally gets the best of Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes' first ever loss in September, which is wild.
Yeah.
So just to see how good he is. He's not like one of those who gets better early as the season goes on. He starts off good and stays consistently good.
Right. No fourth quarter points for the Chiefs, which is surprising.
Yeah. And their defense looked dominant to start off this game. They had that pick 6 to start the game, and then Lamar just kind of took over. So and then Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers heard everybody talking and told him to shut up. As the Packers beat the Lions 35-17. Aaron Jones, 4 touchdowns in this game. That's incredible.
Playing out of his mind. He was the reason I single-handedly lost one of my fantasy matchups. I was up by 29, and this guy had nothing but Aaron Jones, and he beat me by 12. So
he either won a lot or had you lose a lot.
Right.
But in fantasy this week, man, such a good player. Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes against 3 of them to Aaron Jones. Devontae Adams had a good game. TJ Hawkinson had a good game though for the Lions as well. But Lions again, just the Lions. They got Jared Goff and TJ Hawkinson. That's about it, man.
Yeah.
They don't really inspire a whole lot of greatness.
Right.
On my end. So that's week 2 of the NFL. We'll go through week 3 of our teams. We'll talk about first Buffalo Bills. They take on the Washington football team at 1:00 on Fox. I haven't seen a line on this yet. Bills are picked to win by 8.5, actually. In this one. Washington going to have Taylor Heineke starting. So no Ryan Fitzpatrick revenge game, possibly. Tremaine Edmonds is questionable. Again, it's early in the week when we're recording this, so everybody should be good to go. I think the Bills should win this game. Washington's offense, again, against the Giants looked great. Did not look great the week prior to against the Chargers. They're allowing 419 yards of offense. The Bills are only allowing 258 yards of offense. For 2 weeks. So defense has been the Bills for years. I think if you get the rush game going like you did last week, you saw how it worked for them.
Yeah.
Get that going, keep Washington off the field, and get some touchdowns. Have Josh Allen run a bit. You'll see the Bills look good. And you got to stop. Again, McKissick was the secret weapon last week for Washington. And if you can kind of stop him, I don't know who Washington goes to. Maybe McLaurin. But other than that, I think if you can stop both of them, make them give the ball to Gibson, who has been kind of slow to start this year, you can get the win and roll over
Right.
the Washington football team. I keep wanting to call them
Yeah.
the Redskins. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, I know.
And then for your Titans, their first division game of the year, also at 1:00 against the Indianapolis Colts. Again, Carson Wentz is questionable. He's got 2 sprained ankles right now. The Titans are picked to win by 5 points right now. Also questionable, Xavier Rhodes is questionable for the Colts. It's Paris Campbell. The Titans, Taylor Lewan, Anthony Ferkser, Caleb Farley, all questionable for the Titans as of right now. Again, this could change by the time this podcast comes out. But yeah, it could be an interesting division matchup as it usually is between the Colts and the Titans.
Yeah, it's been predominantly a one-sided matchup for the better part of, 20 years.
Yeah.
And with most of them obviously going to the Colts. I mean, Andrew Luck as a starter never lost to the Titans, which still blows my mind.
Yeah.
And then Peyton Manning owned the Titans too. But things have gotten a little bit more kind of 50-50 as the Titans have put together 4 or 5 straight winning seasons now. And last year we split the matchups with the Titans losing the first one, but winning the all-important second one in the push for the playoffs. And this is the Titans they have to come out here. They have to take advantage of this. The Titans obviously looked dead in the water after 2 quarters on Sunday. And it very well looked like the Titans and the Colts were going to both be going 0-2 and then heading into a matchup where they face each other. And one of them is going to end up being 0-3, and that might almost kill them. So now the Titans pull that off. This is the opportunity. We talked about these next 3 games. This is going to be massive for Tennessee's season, because what the Titans ideally, what they need and have to do is come out here at home, get this win, put the Colts in an 0-3 hole. Mm-hmm. That way they have so much ground to cover, because we know that the Colts and the Titans are the 2 best teams in this division.
Yeah. And then if you can get Jacksonville to lose, they're in a hole too.
Right. So. Yeah. So get them in a hole, put them at 0-3, put the Titans at 2-1 going into Jets-Jags. Ideally, you'd like to come out of that 4-1. But this game's going to be massive. It's going to be tough regardless of who's playing quarterback. Carson Wentz, like we said, right now, unsure whether or not he's going to play. But coming off this win Sunday, Titans offense looks like it's back. It's going to be playing a pretty good defense led by Darius Leonard. So it's going to be a tough outing for Derrick Henry to get going again, especially behind a makeshift offensive line. But, I mean, hey, second half, we look great on Sunday. So this Titans offense, when it's rolling, it's better than anybody. So I fully believe that. And somebody with Ryan Tannehill back there just got to play mistake-free football. Please, no fumbles. Please, can we have a game where he doesn't fumble? Just protect him. Derrick Henry just got to get going in the first half. But as we've seen over the years, we all know that Derrick Henry is the second half runner, because that's really when it can start to wear down on you. Like, there's a handful of games that you can pick out and look at where Derrick Henry runs for 30, 40, maybe even 20 yards in the first half, and then just goes off in the second half. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of how it is. So the Titans are never out of a ball game. I will never, ever say that the Titans are completely out of a ball game, because I think that they've shown enough with Sunday and then last year that they can dig themselves out of any hole. But this defense, if Carson Wentz does not play, does have to take advantage of a backup quarterback that would look like to be Jacob Eason. And pass rush hasn't really generated a whole lot of sacks, but I can tell just from watching this team last year and our abysmal pass rush, like, this pass rush is a lot better. Russell Wilson moved a lot. Kyler Murray even moved a lot. Now, 2 of those guys, absolutely mobile quarterbacks. Coming out against a guy who's not a mobile quarterback this week, whether it be Wentz or Eason, we have to get after him, have to get sacks, take it off our secondary, and play our game on offense. A.J. Brown's got to bounce back, had like 3 or 4 drops on Sunday. He's due for a big game, so we'll see.
Yeah, we will see indeed. That's at 1:00 on CBS. Buffalo and Washington's at 1:00 on Fox. So we'll go through the NFL schedule real quick. Thursday night, NFL Network, Carolina is at Houston. That could be an interesting one. Houston's going to be out with Tyrod Taylor. Like, Davis Mills is going to get the start for the Texans.
Panthers have to win this game.
Panthers win this game. I'm going to start to think more about looking at them more because after that they got to go to Dallas and they got the Eagles. And when they go to Dallas, that's going to be a tough defensive game or game that defense is going to need to step up in.
Yeah,
for sure in that one. Go to Sunday. Chicago's at Cleveland again. Matt Nagy's going to run special packages with his 2 quarterbacks. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Cleveland's got to look better because they have not looked good so far. Baltimore's at Detroit. Detroit needs the win, and I don't know if they're going to get it against this Baltimore team.
Oh, that's a tough opening slate for the Lions. 49ers, Packers, Ravens. That's cruel.
Yeah. And then after that, they have 2 division games going to the Bears and going to the Vikings. So,
yeah,
don't get much easier for the Lions start of the year.
Right.
Chargers are at the Chiefs. That could be a fun one. See if Justin Herbert can get something going. He's kind of been sluggish early, but interesting to see what he can do against Kansas City. If Kansas City can rebound after the loss to the Ravens. New Orleans is at New England. Got to see if those players will be back for New Orleans. And Mac Jones got to go up against a pretty good New Orleans defense still. So see what they can get going. Falcons are at the Giants. These 2 teams that are struggling. And
this game's going to be ugly.
Yeah, someone's got to find something to get going in that one. Cincinnati is at Pittsburgh. Old school rivalry game. These 2 teams hate each other. Joe Burrow looking to shake off last week's game. He still looked good. They're down 20-3 and almost let it come back in that one. So still
Bengals need this game.
Need this one for sure. Cardinals at the Jags. Oh boy, the Cards might drop 50 on the Jags this week.
Yeah.
And Chandler Jones might have, and Chandler Jones, JJ Watt might decide to have a field day.
Trevor Lawrence might die.
Yeah, Urban, just go to Pasadena, please.
Because you think the Titans' offensive line's bad? I show you Jacksonville.
Yeah. Your 4:00 game start off with the Jets at Denver. Denver got an easy schedule, I think, at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they got the Giants, Jags, and Jets. Next week they got the Ravens. So, hey man, Broncos are just padding them stats, man.
They're in for a rude awakening next week, but they need these wins to stack them up. They can't lose these games.
Absolutely, because in that division you cannot lose those.
No.
Dolphins are at the Raiders. Gotta see if Tua will be back for that one. I don't think his X-rays were negative.
Yeah.
So he's just questionable right now. So, but I see if Derek Carr can have another great day offensively against the Miami team. 4:25. The Bucks are at the Rams.
Oh, this should be prime time.
I know.
This should have the whole spotlight on it, and now we're just gonna get Joe Buck. Great.
Plot twist: Joe Buck is doing that Falcons Giants game. What? Not good. We can shove him off somewhere and
please.
God. And then the Seahawks are at the Vikings. That should be a fun one offensively. Offensive shootout possibly there.
Yeah.
This
is big because Seahawks need to rebound, and the Vikings are just looking for a win after they've played 2 games that they very well could have won.
Yep. And your primetime game, Packers at the 49ers. It's interesting to see what 49ers can do because their first game, they started off hot, and then their defense struggled, and last week their offense struggled. So interesting to see what they do now, and if Aaron Rodgers can keep up that consistency, and Aaron Jones as well. And Monday Night Football, all as your classic NFC East matchup. This is where Joe Buck would be. Joe Buck is livid he's not this game, but it's the Eagles and the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. I think the Cowboys are going to roll in this one because the Eagles haven't looked good to me. Well, they look good against the Falcons, but the Falcons are the Falcons. So,
right.
So that is NFL Week 3. Some interesting matchups there, and we're going to conclude, of course, how we usually do with our best plays of the week. Waffle, let's start off with you. You got to see Emerald take on, I believe, Broome it was this week.
Yep. It was Emerald High School versus Broome High School here in South Carolina, Class 3A showdown in Greenwood. And I've got three ones that really stood out to me. One for Emerald and two for Broome. I'll start off by saying Emerald won the game 41-28. It was a very good game. The best Emerald's offense has looked in the 3 years that I've been watching them. So many rushing yards. I don't know exact stats, but they ran the ball so well. The first one I want to talk about is and Richard, I sent them to you, so it should be the third one.
Okay.
If you want to follow along.
Yeah.
First one I'm gonna watch here is Robbie Harrison from Emerald, who is their best recruit. I think he's a 3-star recruit according to 247. He's got offers from places like Georgia, Arizona State. He's got a lot of D1 offers. And I mean, he just takes this kid, one arm, strong arm tackles this man. From where I was sitting, it obviously looks like a face mask, but it's not. Yeah. He did grab his jersey and just slung him around one arm like he's a freaking rag doll. So, I mean, just grown man strength. Shout out to Robbie Harris. So be excited to find out where he's going to be going to play his college ball. Yeah. And then we will go to Broome's third touchdown of the game. So Rich is the one right above that. Mm-hmm. And this one is at the end of the third quarter. It's kind of turned into a shootout. They are kind of back and forth. Emerald's still holding the lead. But Broome, Broome's skill players are massive. Mm-hmm. Broome has this running back here that you'll see who is just a stout kid. They got another kid that's a wide receiver that looks like he's at least 240 pounds. Like, they're just stout. And this kid, as Broome lines up here, they're going to run snap it in the pistol. It's going to fake, roll out. He slings it in the flat. Running back's got it. And, I mean, stiff arm into the freaking dirt. Puts him through the turf to get into the end zone. The poor kid from Emerald, man. And the last one that I want to show you is it's not great because the cameraman really, really screws it up. But you can tell this is Dylan Ramirez. Yeah, the quarterback from Broome. Dylan Ramirez, big kid, and this guy can zing the ball. Mm-hmm. He made so many good throws, just Broome couldn't catch COVID if they tried. But this is just a massive dime, dude. And Dylan is going to sit here and he's going to take the snap and he just fires a little fade action to the end zone. You can't see it, but you can tell that it's a dime, man. It doesn't completely follow it, but I mean, it's such a good throw. I was so impressed with him. In Broome getting a loss, like he can sling that ball, man. If he had any bit of help at the wide receiver position, that offense is nasty.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good win for the Vikings, and what was a crazy game down in South Carolina. Mine comes from a game up in Tennessee, just down the road from where I am, Jefferson County. Jefferson County last year went 0-10, and they moved up. They reclassified. Tennessee goes up to 6A, by the way. If you don't know that. Now, the schools are about the same size as South Carolina schools, but they go up to 6A. They reclassified to 6A. So then Morristown East. Morristown is the next town over. They have two high schools, Morristown East, Morristown West. This is Morristown East, who coming in, they 0-4, and they ended up losing this game. And so they're 0-5 now. Jefferson County now 3-2, which is good to see after a year. But Trevor Malone makes this pick off of Isaiah Hall, one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Tennessee. He's only a sophomore. Unreal pick. I sent it to you if you want to see it. Just unreal pick. Gets in front of the receiver, catches it, and actually is the all-time career record leader for interceptions at Morristown East High School. So this is a great job by him. It's one of the craziest interceptions I've ever seen live. Just a great play by him. That kind of kept Morristown East in the game. Jefferson County ended up winning this game 28-12. And it was a defensive slug out until the second half when both teams just could not stop scoring. Both teams was scoring like crazy in the second half. So, but yeah, crazy play. Jefferson County's got an interesting field if you've never been there. Only one side of bleachers, and it was a huge video board. And the other side is just like woods, and there's a cow pasture way off in the distance. You can see the cows from the field. It's so weird looking, but
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So just a fun little hidden gem in Tennessee for football. Oh, yeah. Well, Waffle, we're recording the light, and the sun is still out. I'm very surprised because we've talked a lot still.
Yes.
We keep saying we're going to make these shorter, and we have not succeeded yet. So
No, we keep failing at that aspect. But
y'all seem to be enjoying that. Y'all enjoy our pain too, because the clip of Waffle's rant watching South Carolina is been very popular on YouTube. We're probably going to post the one of him talking about the Titans this week.
Yeah.
See that. So
Man.
yeah, but this week, some things to plug. I have a podcast that came out yesterday. If you're listening to this on Thursday, Mossy Creek Conversations with Carson Newman. I got talked with Zach Witherspoon, who is the assistant strength and conditioning coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. He actually played football at Carson Newman. Also was a strength coach at New Mexico State back when New Mexico State had Pascal Siakam in basketball, and also when they won their first bowl game in 58 years a few years ago in the Arizona Bowl. So got to talk with him. He also looks just like Sean McVay, which is hilarious. We talked about that a little bit and how that kind of came about and how he went viral in his first ever game, his preseason game, about looking like Sean McVay. So kind of funny on that. And then, of course, on Saturday, back on the air, the Eagle Sports Network, calling 2 soccer games starting at 5 o'clock as Catawba College takes on Carson Newman. The men's game will play first, actually. They play at 5. Women play it right after. The men's game should be a pretty good one. Catawba is 4-0-2. They've had 2 straight draws. And then the women's game will be a fun one as Catawba women are top of the South Atlantic Conference right now. Carson Newman is tied for the lead as well because they both have 2 conference victories. So it should be a fun time on the Eagle Sports Network. So I know you got college football on, but watch some other college football on Saturday as well. Waffle, what you got to plug?
Yeah. Oh, this week, not a whole lot. I got some Wednesday night this past Wednesday, I guess, if this is not going to come out until Thursday, but
Yeah.
I'll be doing volleyball at Lander. They'll be playing USC Aiken. And then Friday night I'll be at Emerald. They're playing Daniel, one of the better teams in the state. So excited to watch them play, but I'll be over there. And then I'll be watching I'll be working Saturday morning and watching college football and watching the NFL on Sunday. And that's about it.
Oh, also on Sunday, by the way, for any listeners down in Alabama, I'm going back and filming some New South Pro Wrestling this Sunday in Huntsville, Alabama. At Top Shelf.
Nice.
Going to be a fun night there. Good to see the boys there and girls there for New South. Of course, like I said, we got to sponsor that one match for Combat Fight Unlimited this past weekend, which Comic can end up winning. So that's the luck for Beard Broadcaster Productions. That's just the good luck you bring. You will win everything and succeed in life and everything you do if you listen to this podcast.
Dang right.
Yep, exactly. Look at our teams.
They don't listen to the podcast, apparently.
Yeah, all of our teams are either 2-1 or 1-1, so they listen sometimes, I guess. So
we just gotta get them to listen. That's gonna solve all their problems
until
Carolina and Clemson play each other, and then
they tie at 76. That's just ends 10 overtimes later. All the 2-point shootouts, they just end and ascend to heaven.
They play. How many overtimes would it be if South Carolina and Clemson played to a 0-0 tie and then tied in both first 2 overtimes and the final score was 70? I don't know. It's got to be correct math. I guess right. 76-74. And it was all 2-point conversions.
Are they scoring in the first 2 times?
So you'd have 36 overtimes pretty much because 2 points. 2 points overtime. 36 or 37 overtimes.
Yeah,
that's how it's gonna go.
Yep, absolutely.
This game will finish at 4:00 in the morning.
All right, there we go. So yeah, that's all we got for you. Again, we tried to make it shorter. It didn't work.
We tried.
But thank y'all for listening, tuning in, supporting the boys, and we hope y'all have a great week of college football, NFL, whatever else you tune into. See y'all later. You've been listening to Breakfast Time with Waffle and Richard. Logos designed by Jen Perry. You can follow Richard on Twitter at Ricardo_knows or on Instagram at RNM1996. Catch up with Waffle at WaffDog on Twitter. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on this Bearded Broadcaster production.